It's like I can't walk on the ceiling. Oh yeah, got me dreaming, dreaming in colors I never dreamed. Oh yeah, I let you in deeper than I let anyone else before. Fell in love with my broken pieces, took them all and made them yours. Didn't know what my heartbeat needed, skipping out, no I can't keep score. When I lose my breath, boy, you got me breathing. Oh, every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Oh, magic. No, I'm never letting go. Now that I have it with you. When you kiss me, it's like the stars fall out the sky onto my heart to cover up what I don't wanna show. I let you in deeper than I let anyone else before. Fell in love with my broken pieces, took them all and made them yours. Didn't know what my heartbeat needed, skipping out, no I can't keep score. When I lose my breath, boy, you got me breathing. Oh, every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Every little thing you do, every time you hold me, take me higher, higher. Oh, you take me higher, you take me higher, baby, you take me higher, you take me higher, baby, you take me higher, you take me higher, baby, you take me higher, yeah, you take me higher, baby.
The best entertainment in the world is watching Anna off off the air when these songs are playing. And I hate that we'll never get to see it, but oh my God. Welcome to Saturday Night Vibe, the progressive news show with Let's BS3. I am your host, Marlon Clyburn, along with Anna Hart from BorelliEtc.com. I have no idea what this is at. Tracy will be here later in the second hour. She's at a play, which I asked her to please send me some footage because it sounds quite interesting. But today, we will be taking a look at a situation that happened in Oklahoma of a sheriff, sheriff, jailers, commissioner members who decided to take it upon themselves to discuss, work-related things such as mob hits on a newspaper reporter, the good old days when you used to be able to beat up black people and lynch them, certain things like that. If we also get a chance later on in the night, we may also get into the fact that, wow, there actually was something worse than protesting in the middle of a Tennessee hearing. And the person resigned because of it. Now, don't get it twisted. We all talking about Tennessee. The decision that he was guilty was in March. He just decided now to resign, but we'll get into that too.
And this is not one of the young men we went over.
No. No, it was the other side. It was one of the guys who did vote to get one of the young men ousted. But trust me, the video is just freaking amazing. But anyway, hello, Anna.
Hello, Marlon. Huh. Yeah, I had a little bit of an afternoon, and I was telling you about Marlon, about it to Marlon before the show. So, really short, this uppity young man from Southeast Asia thought that on a game after I was nice to him, that he owned me. Oh, it was like the quickest misogyny smack in the face. Like, okay, yeah, still out there in the world.
They've never left. They never left.
Mm.
We are all about that free support. Like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already. And after the live show, please join the conversation in the comments. It will boost the show in the YouTube algorithm, and that is payment near and dear to us. I can tell you now for the first time in a long time, because I watch the algorithm practically every hour. Be honest with you, I done lost my mind. I need a life, but the algorithm is now showing for the first time that unsubscribers are outnumbering subscribers when it comes to watching these videos. You are out, and I'm not talking about by a little bit. I'm talking about maybe a 60-30
Wow.
gap. So you are watching the shows.
Hey out there.
Hey, you are watching
Mm.
the shows. You are enjoying the shows because there was one point where it was 200 and semi y'all watching all at the same time. So
Wow.
come on, get on in here. The numbers are going up. I appreciate it. I want more. I'm
Just
greedy.
gonna say something. If I know sometimes it can be very hard. If you have any kind of social anxiety, don't sweat it. We're here. We do see you, even if you don't speak. But we do love it when we get comments and to interact with the audience. It's just a little mwah to this magic.
Yeah, because we got some comments. That's
And hello, Mickey.
If I suddenly disappear, we are under a severe thunderstorm threat with the possibility of damaging hail and high winds. I have all my rechargeable lamps and lanterns out and ready. Mickey, you've been
You
on
know
this
how.
show long enough to know, take care of yourself. Don't worry about us. I would rather you not be here for one day and be here for the remainder of the life of this show than the other. Trust me. Please take care of yourself. Tracy is home and she's eating dinner. She didn't want to come on chomping on her food. Thank you. I truly appreciate that. So, without further ado, and really hoping that we don't sound like goofy as AFs, let's get this party started. So we're gonna start off with a story coming out of Oklahoma, a county in Oklahoma, and like unfortunately, I didn't write the county down, but trust me, when you hear the report, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. There was a meeting between the sheriff of the county, some commissioner members, the jailer in that county. They was having a little meeting. They was discussing a couple of things, and it kind of got out of hand.
And those recordings were captured by a McCurtain Gazette reporter. In it, you can hear the sheriff as well as a county commissioner talking. It was happening during a county commission meeting, actually after the meeting, and now state authorities are investigating, and the governor is calling for several resignations.
I know where two big deep holes are here, and they.
I got an excavator.
These are pre-dug.
The McCurtain Gazette says that is audio of McCurtain County Commissioner Mark Jennings and Sheriff Kevin Clardy talking about killing two of the paper's reporters. The paper is currently suing the county over an alleged Open Records Act violation. The threat seems to get more specific as Jennings talks with Sheriff's investigator Alicia Manning.
I've known 2 or 3 hitmen that were very quiet guys.
Yeah.
And would cut no mercy.
Yeah.
In Louisiana, because it was all mafia around Louisiana.
The conversation between the officials eventually became racist. Commissioner Jennings complaining to Sheriff Clardy about not being able to kill or beat black people.
If it was back in the day, you take a damn blackjack, whoop their and throw them in the cell, I'd run for sheriff.
Yeah, well, it's not like that no more.
I know. Take them down here on Mud Creek and hang them up with the damn rope.
Yeah.
But you can't
And
do
the
that.
thing about it is,
They got more rights than we got.
The mayor of Idabel, which is the county seat for McCurtain County, Craig Young, joining the governor in calling for resignations. Governor Stitt saying there is no place for such hateful rhetoric in the state. Stitt called on OSBI to investigate to determine whether anything illegal happened. The McCurtain Gazette chose to release only portions of the recording, but reports that the entire recording was sent to the FBI and the Attorney General's office.
This is an ongoing investigation that we've been looking at for several days.
And there was a county commissioner meeting this morning in McCurtain County, but Tulsa station KJRH reports that there were no officials that were in the recording in attendance at today's meeting.
Yeah. So there you go. So
Deep breaths. Deep breaths.
so here we got the sheriff, and I got the story pulled up so I can use some names. This happened in McCurtain County, Oklahoma. The sheriff that was speaking was Kevin Clardy. He was telling the district attorney, who was also there in my office, told him that I ain't no effing liar, according to McCurtain Gazette News, which released a full 3 hours and 37 minutes audio late Wednesday. NBC News has listened to the recording in full and has not independently verified the authorities. What we have found out recently since then is that they have told the publisher or the editor and his son that they have to leave the area. It has just gotten that bad for them. I love the fact that the fact that they keep coming. We have other commissioner meetings, but none of them was present. You think? No, I want you to show up. I know all of a sudden you ain't get busy. Like I just know you didn't all of a sudden. Oh, I forgot I had a family reunion to get to. No, I can't make it to that next meeting.
Vacation.
What you got, Anna?
Okay, that was a first. That was like breaking news to me. You saw my face. Yeah, I've been in a little bit of a news bubble for a couple of days. Taking a break is why I do play a nice relaxing game. And yeah, the world is still full of ugly hatred deep down in the heart people. But we've also, it sounds, have enough people saying that's not right. And I don't want that near me. This is one time when I'm going to say not in my backyard works.
Well, we got some good people on the side. The reports came out that the police, organizations that's in that area has denounced the sheriff. They're not backing him. They're not even getting in the middle of this. And yeah, Mickey, I'm going to get to that too. They're doing all they can to make the issue about illegally recording because they said it wasn't nearly as bad. No, what the you know what? No, let's go ahead. Well, let's go to the comments first. So yeah. Hello, Foxy, my beautiful wife. Hello. They should be done. That's it. Yeah. And hello, Mother Heart. But yeah, I agree. But welcome to America, though. So let's get to the response from the sheriff about exactly what Mickey said.
One thing I would like to, it would be nice that we as voters had some kind of recourse. If something happened, I don't know. I always felt that was lacking. Sorry.
Yeah. But let's get the sheriff did respond. He takes full responsibility of his actions. He's decided to step down. He asking for everybody's apology. I'm just kidding. That dude thought about the whole thing illegal.
Turning now to the swirling controversy in McCurtain County.
The sheriff's office now claiming the recordings made by a newspaper are illegal and the reporters could face felonies. McCurtain County Sheriff's Office commenting for the first time since Sheriff Kevin Clardy and others were caught on an audio recording reportedly discussing killing 2 journalists and hanging black people. The sheriff's statement also claims the recording was altered and does not match the transcription.
So let me read something real quick. Is Oklahoma a one-party or two-party state for recordings? For anybody that don't know, one-party consent for recordings and two parties consent for recordings is if you are a two-party consent of recordings, that means both parties have to have acknowledgement that a recording is going on. If it's a one-party consent, that means only one of the two parties during the recording has to know that there is a recording going on. So is Oklahoma a one-party or a two-party consent recording? Oklahoma law stipulates that it is a one-party consent state with recording. That means in Oklahoma it is legal to record a conversation if at least one party to the conversation knows about a consent to the recording. You have absolutely nothing to stand on. It was not illegal. Nice try, though. And I like how you said it is a felony. So you was really going to throw that felony in there to make it even worse. But yeah. And it's Oklahoma, by the way. Oklahoma, the whole state, not your little county. So you can't come. No, in my county, Oklahoma is one party, but in my county, in this room where we was holding a conversation, the law is it's two parties. You can't do that. It's the whole state law. Never mind.
You got caught.
You got caught, dude. Every case these biggest that has been contested under these bastards need to be open and investigated, and they are. Slowly but surely, they are. We have one lady who is suing the sheriff department because of the jailing of her husband who wound up dead. We have one family who is wanting the investigation open of their missing father, who they haven't seen. So yeah, this is opening up some
Skeletons. Ooh,
skeletons is a good word for it. This is opening up some things that's being swept under the rug. So, boy,
you're not sorry. That was illegal that you recorded me. Mm-hmm. What about what you said?
And the funny thing about it is, it wasn't an accident, so to speak. The person who left the recording, and I am fully aware that I'm saying wink, wink to this, okay? The guy that did the recording said he walked into the meeting, he pressed the record button on his recorder, and then he walked out. So when he came back to get the recording, all of this was on here. So I'm like,
He's taking minutes.
I mean, it's a good thing you did it, but
Wow.
I don't know too many people who put a recorder in the room and walk out.
Well,
Oh God,
I do. Not can't say council members, but I mean I know teachers that will set up and record all of their lectures because they are not as concerned with attendance now than you getting the material.
And I'm about to say I do.
And not every teacher, of course, but
I don't know too many reports. And by the way, one little tidbit, we're gonna move on. I like, and I was telling Foxy this. These are illegal recordings. The audio has been altered, and they don't match the transcript. There was the transcript. Somebody was writing this down. Somebody was writing down the good old days of lynching black people and beating them up and throwing them in. Somebody was actually typing this up for record. Right. Nobody. Okay. So what is the outcome? Well, at least one commissioner did resign.
Years ago, we learned that McCurtain County District 2 Commissioner Mark Jennings has resigned from his seat. The resignation comes after Jennings was heard on a controversial audio recording that included comments from McCurtain County Sheriff Kevin Clardy, investigator Alicia Manning, and trust administrator Larry Hendricks.
So we do have one person that was enough to say, I'm out of here. And to be honest with you, for a commissioner, I can see it. We're talking about sheriffs. We're talking about somebody who has the full, well, I can't even say the full force of the law behind them, but I mean, you already lost the police association saying, nope. Even I can't back you on this one, bruh. If they overheard you say it, we got your back. Man, he released this recording to everybody and their mama. Sheriff who? And well, I ain't never even heard of him. I don't even know who you talking about. So, I hope that resignation didn't accuse him from an investigation. No, and normally it doesn't. The investigation happened before. Well, they did say it. It did go up to the FBI. I don't know why. I have no idea what federal laws. This is a moral. This is a moral situation. This is I can't trust you because you are saying the things that you're saying. Illegal though.
If you pass a black person on the street, are you a threat to them now? You know,
yes. I would want the investigation to go. I'm sorry, your stuff is so heinous. We're opening up every investigation that you was a part of in any kind of way, shape, or form. If you're looking at the commissioners, they can probably go through and let's look at what you voted on. Let's see if it was, across board. But yeah, what I was saying was what they said was not illegal. I don't want nobody to think, oh, they said it, they need to be, no, they're going to investigate. If you're feeling this way, and we're seeing that some of your arrests seems to be more racial driven than anything else, some of the unaliving of your prisoners under your watch, was this accidental or did you have a hand in it? Let's start looking into it a little closer. Yeah, dude, y'all opened up a can of worms. Y'all opened up a whole bunch of stuff now. Do I feel sorry for you? Y'all already know the answer to that. So good luck. I hope you live the life that you have. Now, I hope you live the life that you deserve. I hope you get the results that you deserve too. Now, let's move on. So, our numbers on this show, subscribers, watching, the viewership, all have skyrocketed. And again, I truly appreciate it. However, with good comes side effects. I'm not even going to say bad. It just comes with some side effects. Some of the side effects so happen to be that the more people that's watching, the more people that comment. The more people that comment, not all the commenters are in good faith. Okay? So, let me see. Let me pull this up real quick so I have a chance to not make any mistake. Because I really want to make sure that everything that I'm saying is said absolutely correctly.
100% accuracy.
Okay. So here we are. Like I said, you're going to get some people who are not going to be happy with our content either because of whatever. They could be racist, they could be bigoted, they could be sexist, they could just not like the left, this, whatever the case. Well, it just so happened that one of the cases was also about, some of the comments was about Justin Jones and Justin Pearson. And they make comments like they're going to be thrown out again. It is going to be what are you talking about? Rules are rules. They're going to be thrown out and blah, 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 and everything like this. And I try to be as professional as I possibly can, and I'm going to try to be professional when it comes to this story. I am learning. So with that said, before we play the next video, I like to say to all these people, nana, nana, boo, boo.
Received a letter from him resigning immediately, and we accepted it. All right, thank you.
And with that, House Speaker Cameron Sexton announces the resignation of a member of his Republican leadership team just hours after News Channel 5 investigates exposed a sexual harassment scandal involving that lawmaker. Hello, everyone. I'm Carrie Sharp.
And I'm Vicki Yates. Representative Scotty Campbell was among those who recently voted to expel the Tennessee Three. But it turns out Campbell and the GOP had their own secrets.
As our Phil Williams discovered, Campbell had quietly been found guilty of sexually harassing legislative interns. But nothing had happened, Phil, until today.
That's right. We discovered that the East Tennessee Republican had been found guilty in that secret process of sexually harassing the college interns, accused of some extremely vulgar behavior. But Campbell didn't lose his leadership post in the Republican caucus nor his committee seats. That all changed within hours after we confronted him this morning.
Hey, Representative Campbell, how are you, sir?
We wanted to give the East Tennessee Republican a chance to respond to the findings of our latest investigation of Tennessee's Capitol Hill.
As I understand, you admitted to sexually harassing this intern?
Give me just 5 seconds. Okay.
In fact, Scotty Campbell already knew we were investigating some serious allegations.
Hold on just a second.
About his relationship with at least one legislative intern, although he would soon divulge there was a second intern.
Which direction do I need to look for your camera?
Just look at
Straight
me.
you? Sure.
Campbell is vice chair of the House Republican caucus, and when 3 Democrats engaged in a gun violence protest on the House floor, he voted to expel all 3. Yet this memo, obtained by News Channel 5 Investigates, shows a secret ethics panel recently concluded that based on a staff investigation, the ethics subcommittee finds that Representative Campbell violated the legislature's sexual harassment policy.
I had consensual adult conversations with 2 adults off property.
One doesn't get written up for consensual conversations. The letter says that you were guilty of violating the harassment policy.
I think conversations are consensual once that's verbally agreed to. And if I choose to talk to any intern in the future, it will be recorded.
One of the interns had an apartment in Capitol Towers, a condo apartment complex next to the Capitol where Campbell also had a place. The Republican lawmaker allegedly saw her and a 19-year-old intern going into her apartment. According to an account the victim sent to her university, Campbell made comments about how he was in his apartment imagining that we were performing sexual acts on one another and how it drove him crazy knowing that was happening so close to him. The woman added, I uncomfortably explained that was not happening, and he insisted that he knew it was and asked me to tell him about it. She continued, I explained that she is my friend, and he proceeded to describe how sexually attractive he finds her, referring to the 19-year-old intern. You were in your apartment imagining that they were performing sexual acts on one another?
That's not true.
So she's just making that up?
Yes.
On another occasion, the woman says she went to Campbell's apartment to return a wrench she had borrowed. Quote, he proceeded to ask how many men I've slept with. She recalled, I told him 0, and he insisted I was lying and told me not to lie. He then proceeded to ask how many women I've slept with and said he bets girls go crazy over me. You asked her about how many men she had slept with and then asked about how many women she had slept with?
No.
So you're saying she's just making all of this up?
I'm saying that we had a consensual adult conversation.
Then, according to the woman's account, the Republican leader offered cannabis gummies if she would show him tattoos and piercings on her body. He denies it. Her story, I told him absolutely not, and he begged me for several hugs. She says I was getting progressively more afraid and uncomfortable. He then reached out his hand towards me and grabbed me around my neck. I recoiled and said I felt sick and immediately left. Again, Campbell says he didn't think he did anything wrong.
I was told that if anything ever crossed the line, they would tell me directly. And I'm hearing it from Phil.
But remember the report from the ethics panel finding that Campbell had indeed violated the harassment policy. So are you saying the ethics subcommittee is lying?
I'm saying that I did not know that a workplace policy could be enforced when you're not at work.
But News Channel 5 Investigates has learned that legislative officials took the complaints against Campbell so seriously that they've now spent thousands of dollars to get the intern out of her lease at Capitol Towers, to move her furniture back home, and to put her up in a downtown hotel until her internship is done. As for how Campbell thinks his vote to expel the Tennessee 3 squares with his own behavior,
they broke the House rules of decorum.
And you broke the House policies regarding sexual harassment, according to this letter.
I had a consensual conversation with adults. And when the adults informed me that we could talk and that there weren't guardrails, I talked to who I thought were my friends.
Friends whose definition of friendship appears to be far different from this Republican's idea of what it means to be a friend. Again, Representative Campbell resigned about 6 hours after we confronted him with those allegations. Still, there are lots of questions that are not answered. Why did Speaker Sexton and other Republican leaders not act more decisively? And how much is this costing taxpayers? Legislative officials say that number is confidential, but you can bet we're not done investigating.
Okay, this is here. I'm gonna bring them on for a few minutes, but I wanted to run through some things, why it's fresh on my mind. Please keep in mind that this whole decision-making situation about him being guilty of sexual harassment of these interns, happened in March 29th. He was found guilty. Now, keep in mind that the two representatives who were found guilty of whatever the crap y'all want to call it, the decorum of the whatever, Jones and Pearson, that took a grand total of a week. Darn near probably less than a week, but I'll give you the confidence that it was a week to find them guilty and to kick them out. That decision happened March 29th, that he was guilty of sexual harassment. Best believe the only reason this dude resigned or anything that was said was because it came out to the public. Period. Second thing that I want to say, that I want to pull out, now I got Brother Thea's on the line right now. This is the first time I have ever in my life heard consensual conversation. I'm not saying
I've never heard of that.
Exist. I have never heard of the term consensual conversation.
Why were there work rules, but we weren't at work?
And that is not true. That literally is not true at all. Sexual harassment works inside and outside the office. Always been like that. This is not something brand new. This is not a state-by-state decision. Sexual harassment happens inside and outside the office. Trust me, there have been many laws of sexual harassment, especially since the pandemic, when people have been sexually harassing people remotely, and they turn around and go, "We're not in the office, so you can't get me. Hey, we're not." No, again, sexual harassment can happen inside and outside of the office. So let Theus take a toll since he just got here. What you think, Theus?
I don't know what's really going on. I know it's about the Tennessee legislature, and basically, if I'm following, they caught so much heat from what they did with Pearson and Jones that they're finally going to go ahead and sacrifice one of their own to make it seem like, no, we're actually holding everyone accountable. And so that's what it sounds like to me, because that's kind of like what they do. They're like, man, we covered for you, but now we got to send you out.
Yeah, I'll back up a little bit. What happened was that this guy sexually harassed two interns in their apartment. He just so happened to live right beside the intern and said some of the most heinous crap I've ever freaking heard.
The congressman lived by the intern.
I mean, the state representative his apartment happens to be beside one of the intern's apartments.
Okay.
And he was holding a conversation with the lady and saying some stuff that's just like, yeah, I heard that y'all was doing it over there in your apartment, and it really was turning me on because I could hear everything, all the way down to how many men have you slept with? How many women have you slept with? Don't even lie to me about it. It was just real bad. So they had a meeting on it on March 29th. Well, they had a meeting in March. On March 29th, they found him guilty. Now, I'm going by what you're saying, Theus. The funny thing about it is they did find him guilty. They was not going to do absolutely nothing to this dude until the investigating news organization walked up to him and said, hey, what's going on? You was found guilty and nothing happened. So what you doing? Why this? Why that? Why you say this? Why you say that? So 6 hours later, after he was put on air with this, he resigned. So I agree with you on one point that they didn't throw. That's the only pushback I'm doing. No, they was not going to throw him away. They just said, they probably said it's in your best interest to leave, because this decision that we've had since March has now been made public. If it hasn't been made public, you would have You'd have peed on somebody's chair and nothing would have happened to you because whatever. So that's the up-to-date version of what you missed.
Oh, okay. But yeah, that's what they do though. They come to you and they say, hey, look, we can have a vote. I'm telling you the votes are not in your favor. You know we're going through a lot right now. We can't have this. You know, we tried to do what we could for you, but now they're starting to sniff around again, and you're making us look even worse. So do the honorable thing and resign. And that's what he did. I guarantee you that's how that stuff rolls because they everything is calculated. It's it's unfortunate that people can't just do what's decent because it's decent. They but I guess that's not the world we live in right now.
No. We make decisions. Making decisions used to be off of morals, values, how you feel about people, how you feel about yourself after you make the decision. Now decision making is calculated. Risk
It's all team
reward
sports
assessment.
now.
Yeah, risk reward assessment is being made.
But to be fair, because oftentimes you do hear that, like we've lost our way or we've lost our morals or like that, and I'm like, no, people are the same as they've always been.
Yeah.
It's a little bit what has shifted. Okay, so this has shifted. Social norms have been relaxed as far as how you portray yourself, right? But people have done heinous things forever.
Yeah.
Right. We're talking about elected officials who have done horrible things to every community in the country, including their own. So that has never changed, right? But what has changed now is like everybody's a free agent. I guess that's the way I would put it. Because before you were always representing your team, right? If I go out in public, like I raise my kids, when you go out, you represent you represent me, and you represent this whole family. So that is on your shoulders everywhere you go, all the time. And most people were taught that and raised that way. And this is not to blame, but I'm just saying, ever since, and this maybe just be coincidental, ever since the boom of single parenthood really, really, really took off, there was less of a mooring. And I'm not blaming single parenthood. I'm saying that the system started to falter and it started being what you could accomplish as an individual because you had to be an individual in many cases. This is how we got a bunch of free agents running around. And some people want to blame the women for that. And some people want to blame the men for not being there. I want to blame both because whoever was absent shouldn't have been. And whoever was present, I don't know. I can't say. I hope you did your best. That's all I can say. But that's like an off base type.
How long has Campbell been in office? Has to wonder how many interns he sexually assaulted. He at the present, he was on his second term. So what's the state legislature?
So hopefully none.
I don't know about workplace policy could be enforced when I was not at work. That's like saying I don't think drunk driving should mean I could lose my job since it didn't happen while I'm at work. It was an excuse.
But you can. When I mean, I don't know, maybe I'm misunderstanding, but as a claims adjuster, if I got a DUI, I'll lose my job.
Oh no,
like
that's exactly what it is. That is exactly what it is. It's like you saying, I'll just put a spin on it, Parker. It's like you're saying that I got drunk and doggone it, I need to pick up some papers from the office real quick before I get home. So you're stumbling through the office, forgetting or don't caring that there's cameras everywhere in your office from the time that you walk in to the time you leave. And they're looking at you like, dude, you can't come to the office intoxicated. I got drunk off the clock. What are you talking? No.
Hey, you know what though? Some of these young cats, they really do think a whole different way, like a whole different. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but it sure enough ain't the way I came up. So they really do think that they have all these, like, I don't know if you want to call them rights or whatever consideration they should get, just simply for existing. Like, I had a full on conversation with a young guy. I really respect this guy, but we don't see eye to eye, right? I'm that transition phase, he's the young phase, right? And like, I'm trying to explain to him, if you have a job, like our job, where we work on workload, right? Our job, there's like no one truly assigns you anything. You come in and you just work. There's projects, there's things going on, everything is moving. Whatever you specialize in, you know what you do, you get in there, you make it happen, and you just go. And if you take a 2-hour lunch, nobody's gonna ask you a question. If you work till 8 o'clock at night, nobody's gonna say anything to you. If you come in 15 minutes late, nobody's really gonna say nothing unless you had a meeting that you were supposed to be in, right? And I was trying to have this conversation when I'm like, the job says be here at 8. You're supposed to be here at 8. You're supposed to be able to work at 8. But this younger generation, and the case he was trying to make, which I can't follow, is more of, no, I'll get here and I'll make sure I get all my work done, and I'll make sure that you don't have any issue with the quality and the timeliness and all of that stuff. But I'll get here when I get here. And I'm like, no. Like, if your job says you start at 8 o'clock, that doesn't mean you show up at 8 o'clock. That means you show up at like 7:55, so that at 8 o'clock you start working when you start getting paid. But that's not how some of these cats see it. They just,
I think it comes from the old. You remember the good old days of busy work? And I think the younger generation didn't understand what busy work portrayed. When I said how I train people, I say make sure the job gets done. What I'm saying is, if the email comes through, if a person comes in, they ask for a request, get the job done. Just take care of it. That's your job. Get the job done. Well, what do we do when there's nothing going on? Nothing, because there's nothing going on. Now, how I'm saying it sounds like, oh, they're just hanging around and everything else, because during my generation, you know what the answer to that question was?
If you can lean, you can clean.
Grab a rag, grab a broom, grab a mop. I literally had somebody, and they're not in management anymore. Thank goodness. They're not in management anymore, who literally told somebody, because I'm so happy I have people who trusted me to come to me and tell me stuff, because they know I'm not going to throw them under the bus. I literally had somebody who said, well, what do we do if we ain't got nothing to do? Well, do you go around to all the clients and ask them, do you need help with something? No. No. Are you nuts? No. Oh, okay. So I was just checking to see, was that the right? No. No.
Well, see, there's a line there. It really depends on what your job is. It really does.
It does,
because
that ain't one of the.
If you work,
that ain't my hour.
Yeah, because if you work in a job that is very defined and what your tasks are, and you finished all your tasks, then you finished your task. But see, what's funny to me, and Marlon, this is where you and I we don't match up, right?
Nope.
What's funny to me is employees have no problem. Some employees have no problem with if I finish all my work and I'm supposed to work an 8-hour shift, right? I finish all my work in 5 hours. They see no issue with coasting for the next 3. Playing on their phone, reading something online, just they're not causing no problems, but they're just sitting there doing nothing for the company who's paying them for these next 3 hours. And they see nothing wrong with that. But they would be highly offended if the company was like, so we're not really giving you guys enough to do over 8 hours. So we're going to schedule you 5 hours going forward because there's no sense in just having wasted productivity time. Then they would be mad.
I thought that story was going to go the other way. We'll give you more tasks.
Well,
I mean, there are those who would do that, but that's, in the time that we're trying to be more efficient in the business world, they're optimizing things, right? They're looking for an excuse to have a computer do your job. They are just itching for an excuse. So they're not going to give you more work unless you're like retail. If you're retail, see, that's the difference. It depends on what your job is, right?
Now,
if you're customer service or retail.
Yeah, that was. I'll just cut you off. That's the difference between what I said about leaning and cleaning and everything. When it comes to retail and restaurants and things like that, yeah, if you ain't got nothing
there's
to do,
literally always something to do.
There's always something to do. Like, you have no excuse. There is always something to do. Office work, that's what I was talking about. Retail,
right? And when I was talking about office work,
restaurants, no, you can't use that excuse. Sorry, but
right.
No.
But what's jacked up though is like office work. That would be my scenario where obviously the job just doesn't require what we budgeted for it. So let's reallocate time. But employers would be mad now because they're only getting 35 hours a week instead of getting 40. And they, so why should I pay you for work you're not doing? I just don't get that part. I don't even get that part. But then in the retail world, I personally, when I was a manager in retail, I believed in giving just random extra breaks. Like, I know the thing says for every, if you work 8 hours, you get a 30-minute lunch and 2 15s, right? And I was the one that you would have that, but I turn around and give you an extra 10 here and an extra 10 there, because just relax, decompress, come back, knock it out. But that's not how everybody runs. Most people will run with, hey, since you're done over here, I need you to go over here. So
the only time I've had an issue with people being on their phones and things like that is, one, don't get comfortable. And that's also something that I always tell absolutely everybody. Do not get comfortable. We just so happen to work at a job where for an hour you may not have nothing to do. You just don't. And the next 2 hours, you really gonna miss that hour when you didn't have nothing to do, because for the next 2 hours you are ripping and running and everything else. And I always sit there and say, don't complain. Don't complain about this had to be done and that had to be done and everything else, because what you're doing is you're bringing light onto the hour that you didn't have anything to do.
Yeah, so, and it comes in waves, right?
Yeah, and it comes in waves. It's like that. I'm trained to say, just be prepared to always go from 0 to 60 in seconds, because that's exactly what it does. 1 minute you ain't doing nothing, you're twiddling your thumbs. The next minute you can't remember the last time you sat down. It is what it is. That's it. Just do it. Get it done and do it.
But what about what we were talking about before, where you finish the work faster? Not like you get off at 5 and you finish at 4:30. I'm not talking about that.
I get what you're saying, and I did have an answer to that, because it's very rare. I don't know it. I've never worked it. I've heard of it. I've never worked it. But let me put a little spin on what you were saying. That if you look at people who work in certain jobs and realize that if you add up the things that they have done in an 8-hour shift, it adds up to 5 hours of actual work. It's very rare that I know of a job that is 5 hours of straight work and then the last 3 hours there's nothing to be done. I do know that over the stretch of 8 hours, intermittent work between the 8 hours, if you was to add all the stuff up that you did, it adds up to 5 hours. That's why I said it's very hard for me to say when I tell people don't complain about the 2 hours that you working, because you have to realize that 1 hour you didn't have anything to do, you didn't complain. Because after the 2 hours, then you have another hour where you may not have nothing to do. Then you busting your butt for 30 minutes. Then you have a 30 minutes where you ain't got nothing to do, or you go to lunch. Then another hour where you busting your butt. If you add up all the times when you're actually doing work, that may add up to 5 hours.
Yeah, I mean, I think in a given day, I mean, all jobs are different, right? Construction, you pretty much work while you're working, right? You working. But in a lot of jobs, especially your professional jobs, you come to work for 8 or 9 hours, you work for like 5. I'm like,
it really is. It
like
that's why I say don't you being on your phone. Stop. If you on your phone, I get it. You're da 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 da. Okay. Da da da. I have an issue with your, and then somebody come in and you still like, bro, you
like
serious?
you're supposed to be doing this. Yeah. Like you ain't shamed at all? Like at all?
Come on. Excuse me, can I have some help with hold on. That's hilarious. What can I do for you? Bruh. Do you hear those sirens outside? That's for you. Because you're still in the hours. That's for you. But they want to go ahead and grab that book bag. But just come on.
But that does entertain me, though. I mean, well, not entertainment. It's just work ethic, moral ethic. You know what? I think part of the perceived moral decline, if you want to call it that, because it's hard to call anything moral when we had lynchings and we had public beatings and used to beat kids in the classroom and
I hate that you missed the first story, but
but I mean all that stuff, but our legal system I blame for most of our problems, because in America it's not what you did, it's what can be proven that you did, and people function like that now. Like if you can't prove I did it, I ain't do it. Whereas I'm like, if I did it, I know if I did it.
Yeah.
You may not know, but I know.
Because I do have a problem with optics. That's a word that has been used a lot in my profession. Give the illusion that you working hard. And I'm like, and I even told somebody, I don't agree with that at all. You don't want everybody to know that you work hard. I was like, no, I want people to work hard. I don't want the illusion
Perception
that
is
you
reality.
work hard. Yeah, but that's exactly. But that's the reality. That is the reality of it. People, management and ownerships will rather you look like you doing something than you're actually doing something. And it's like, no, I'm sorry. I actually want you to work. That's what I'm paying you for. Sorry that y'all don't want to pay for a Disney look that you doing something. When I look at your paperwork and go, you ain't did jack. But you look like you was
you're
doing
right.
something. No, I want you to
I've
do
received what do you call them? It's not coachings or nothing, but just like advice, friendly advice that, hey Tracy,
Hey, Tracy. Which
That
don't say nothing,
that
Tracy,
how was
because
the
we're
show?
already at the 1 hour. Did she freeze?
Oh, I don't know.
No, I didn't hear the question.
How was the show?
I said, how was the show?
Oh, it was really good. Walked out with a roll, but hey, that's how I roll.
Walked out with the who?
A role. I'm going to be in a play.
Oh, so this is like for the church or something?
No.
I want the videotape of it.
Oh, congratulations.
We're almost up onto the 2nd hour. So Parker wants to know, Anna, what did you feel about it? Anna is going to have the last word before we go into the 2nd hour about the guy.
The one who was talking dirty to the interns and the hand around the neck and hugs and ew. There's a power imbalance right away. Then you take advantage of that. This is a story I have heard so many times. It's still gross. I don't like that it's, hey dude, we know you did this, stop doing this, don't bring attention to yourself, and then, you bring attention to yourself, now we want you to go. Except I would like there to be a little bit more accountability if somebody whom we elect does something that breaks our trust. You have a position where you're making policies, whether that's for your city, your county, your state, your country. And this, I didn't know that if I did it off of work, place, time, whatever, dude, you are with interns.
19-year-old intern.
One of them was 19. Yes.
Well, 19 is an adult.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm just saying, we talking about it like this is a child, but it's wrong. It's wrong. It's wrong, y'all. I'm just saying, for those who didn't catch that part, 19 is an important number. You still nasty though.
Let's end it with that.
19-year-old did not consent.
So,
well, like you said, the power imbalance. The power imbalance, in and of itself, removes consent. That's why in the military you can't deal with somebody who directly reports to you. That power imbalance, you can't say was consensual. You have authority and control over this person's professional life. So,
but it was a consensual conversation.
A consensual conversation. Never heard that one.
I've never heard that before in my life. I've never heard that before in my life. All right, that's our first hour. If you're new here, we will take a 3-minute break to reboot and refresh. We will see you all on the other side to catch up on what we didn't do last week, which is Am I the A-hole, where I find the next candidate for the worst person of the year award that we do at the end of the year. We will play that in its entirety. And Foxy's videos of the week. Stay tuned. We will be right back.
Living for weekends, wishing I could take a break from this world. Running on a hamster wheel, but searching for something I can't feel. I just wanna be a lost girl and fly. Take a breath, feel my wings. lose my spark. Living in this crazy time, putting back the pieces of my mind. I know how to run from the dark and fly. Feel my wings spread, levitate into the clouds. I'm so high above the ground. I'm rising. I'm soaring above it. It all. I just wanna be free. Finally, I wanna be free. I wanna be free. I wanna be free. Higher to a bird. You, I'm rising. I'm soaring above it. It all. I just wanna be free. I wanna be free. I wanna be free. I wanna be free.
We are back for the second hour, and as always, let's go ahead and pay those bills. Radical Truth to Power is tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Please do not forget to go to patreon.com/a better Tracy media page. Help support Tracy in all of her endeavors. She literally has put up some videos today, so please go take a look at that. Please do not forget to go to patreon.com/complex mind. Help support Theus in all of his endeavors. See that card? See that card? Please do not forget to go to patreon.com/a radical troops of power. Exactly the way it's spelled. Capital R, capital T, capital T, capital P. Please do not forget to go to Anna Hart's website, BorelliEtc.com. Learn something that you didn't think you need to know, but you should. And as always, if you need to drop me a line, you can do so at radtp@outlook.com. That's radtp@outlook.com. See, you're muted, and I'm hearing some great things, but you're muted. You're muted.
I put out a video today.
You did.
He did.
I've been catching up.
Thea's put out a video today. Everybody needs to go take a look at that after the show. Don't do it during the show.
I put out 2 today, didn't I? Yeah.
I was gonna say it was 2 that you did.
Actually, it's 3 because one's going to Patreon, the other one's a snippet.
Okay, because I was like, that ended. Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah, it ended weird because it was from a preceding video, but I'm trying to learn a little bit from Marlon, but I can't edit very well with this stupid phone. So
Foundation of understanding everything ain't for everybody. Yes, indeed, sweetie.
Yep. It was a really good video. I enjoyed it too.
Okay, well,
thank you, Anna.
I got something to do tomorrow. I
got family stuff
literally
tomorrow.
use your videos now, Theas, as a podcast, and I listen to it as I'm doing stuff. And it. I don't want nobody to think I be blowing smoke up anybody's butt when I be saying these things because these people are on the show. I have 3 of the most phenomenal YouTube contributors ever. And I'm sorry.
Especially Tracy and Anna.
And Theas.
They dope.
Tracy is the veteran of the show. She has been doing this for years. She be knocking out interviews left and right. to the point where these little knuckleheads do not even want to come on her show because they know doggone well she don't play. These have knowledge that I'm still trying to learn from. And every time I think, okay, I got this, and Thea's open his mouth and I go, okay, I'm just going to stop saying crap like that because I'm not going to catch up to this. And Anna's videos is the most serene, beautiful, peaceful, but knowledgeable videos on YouTube. It's like, it's a world.
You walk away. Yeah, you walk away feeling better about yourself.
You do. It's like her videos take you somewhere where you didn't even know existed and you want to be there. Now, not a vacation. I want it now. I need that now. I need that serenity. I need that walk through the woods. I need that peacefulness. I need the dog. I need all of that. I want it. So, yeah, I have 3 of the greatest people on YouTube. Y'all need to take advantage of it. Y'all need to subscribe to their channel. You need to push that notification bell so you don't miss it like I do, apparently. You need to get in there and get a hold of this content.
Help get me to 50.
Me too.
Me too.
No, you don't want to go to 50, Marlon.
No, that's going backwards.
Yeah, that's some unsubscribing going on there. We don't need that one.
Say he had 100 subscribers. Blah 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 blah.
No, I just wanted to be part of the team now. Want to be left out.
It's almost
them are only 2 or 3 minutes long. Oh, that probably the teaser that he probably doing for Patreon.
Yeah, the 2 to 3 minute one is out of a longer one, but I just took that little piece out.
All right. So enough lovey-dovey. Am I the a-hole? So Anna, remember this is the video that was supposed to play last week and the situation involved. So just give you a heads up.
Thank you.
I only told Anna because Anna was the only one that has an issue with it thus far. I'm not even going to put a teaser and all this other stuff. The title of it it's a 3-parter. The title of it is My Sister is Pure Evil.
I'm a 26-year-old woman and my sister is 29. She and I got into a huge argument the other day, and I really need some perspective. My sister has been working as a labor and delivery nurse for a few years now. She's always wanted to be a nurse and even said that it was her calling. Lately, she's been making horrible remarks about the mothers that come to her. Now, I understand that every job is going to have its problems, and sometimes you need to vent about rude people, management, pay, etc. However, this was not like that. For example, she talked about one of her patients, which she referred to as White Whale. My sister said that White Whale went into labor and brought her husband with her. She talked about how hot her husband was and how she couldn't understand how Whale was able to pull someone like him. She laughed when recalling the sounds that she made when pushing out her child and said that she didn't look like the type of woman to be strong enough to go the natural route. In the past, she talked about how another mom-to-be defecated on the table, and she remarked that she wouldn't be surprised if her husband divorced her after seeing something so nasty. Other stories include a teenage patient who just couldn't keep her legs closed. Here, my sister claimed that she gave her some sound advice, and I'm honestly scared to know what she had said to this young girl. With this teenager, my sister laughed about how she gave the girl a nurse dose of pain meds to get her to shut up, and refused to give her a blanket since if she wants to act like an adult, then she deserves to be treated like one. The fight between her and I happened a few days ago due to her talking about a mother who delivered a premature baby. She admitted that she told this mother that she should have done a better job. Jesus. If she didn't want to have a baby born at 29 weeks. I blew up at my sister and asked her, how could you be so heartless? My sister told me that she should have the right to vent about stupid mothers who don't know how to do the thing their body is designed for. She also said that I don't work in healthcare, so I have no right to remark on how she handles stress at work. I told her that if her way of handling stress is to be a misogynist, then she needs to find a different career. I left afterwards. My other family members have been divided on this issue. My husband's on my side. My mom and brother think that I was in the right to call my sister out, while my aunt, uncle, and dad are leaning towards my sister, saying that my sister shouldn't have to kiss up to her patient in order to do her job efficiently. I feel bad for some of the things I said, and I know that she needs to let off steam. But saying horrible things about women in their most vulnerable time is cutting it for me. In addition, my family doesn't know this yet, but I'm pregnant. And hearing about how my sister, a nurse, is treating pregnant women just makes me scared for labor and delivery. So, am I the bad guy?
So before we get to the other two, let's get everybody's thoughts on this.
I'm waiting on the other two parts before I say anything.
You are not the bad guy. She is
So far. Yeah, so far. Because I'm like,
I'm only commenting on what we have heard, not what we will hear. Yeah.
She called her a whale. A whale.
It would be one thing if you were not saying this to your patients and then going, I need to just let off steam. But you, as a nurse, you're telling mothers in the delivery process that they be nasty. Suffocating is normal. How do you, as a delivery nurse, know that?
Especially during childbirth.
If that's exactly. Yeah.
And she gave the one teenage patient pain meds to shut her up. That's illegal. That's straight up illegal. Like, girl, you could lose your whole license. Your whole license.
Unless the patient had a standing written order for a range. Sometimes doctors will say if the patient needs a breakthrough, they can have X amount. But normally, that she took advantage of.
There are two separate issues here. The sister's venting to the family is one thing, but the way she's admitting to treating her patients is quite another. It is totally heartless of her. I can believe a bad day, but to continue to say things like this is horrible. She needs a different profession, period. Her attitude is definitely showing up on the job. Right.
And if I was that sister, don't let her be the birthing nurse. No, you go to a whole nother.
No,
don't you?
She's at the point now, and it's not in the story. I just felt this as the story goes on. She's at the point now where she's wondering should she even tell the sister she pregnant.
Well, they gonna find out eventually.
I mean, I know, but it's just like, oh my God, I don't even want you to know that I'm pregnant. Because if you're saying this stuff to strangers, and that's what they are, strangers, because you're just doing a job. You don't know them personally like your sister. So if you're saying this about strangers, oh my God, what would you say about me? What if I was making those sounds? What if I was not the way, Let's move. Theas, you got anything? Or are you ready for the second part?
No, I mean, just basically, she's been doing this for too long, and it's time for her to go do something else. Once you get to the point where you've lost empathy, your ability to have empathy, you know that you don't see the job like you used to, and it's time to go do something else. Maybe come back later because you have expertise. But for right now, you need to go do something else and then maybe come back another time. Because right now you are so much in the job that it's just doing the job. And you don't even see these as people anymore, which has serious effects because the mother who's giving birth, her stress level can go sky high because it doesn't feel right working with you. And when a woman's blood pressure goes too high during pregnancy, that's how you end up with preeclampsia. That's how you end up with strokes. That's how you end up with, was it like herniated bleeding? All these things can go wrong just because of the stress on top of the stress that the mother's already dealing with. So it's time to go do something else and then figure it out from there before someone gets killed. Because I can't help but hear these types of things. And you know me, I automatically go down the racial side. And, black women die in childbirth or immediately following childbirth at really high rates. What if this nurse is someone working with a parent like that? So yeah, it's.
All right, let's move on to the second story. My sister is totally evil.
Oh, we've got updates. So first, OP called the hospital and basically just explained what happened. Then the hospital called back and let me see. They gave OP a link to an online website and asked her to fill out a detailed written complaint, specifically about what my sister had said about the teenage patient. Also, what exactly my sister said about the nurse dose. This is something they didn't know about, right? The hospital said this is something they're taking very seriously, and the teenage patient was apparently fairly recent. The guy on the phone also alluded that the family of the patient also made a complaint. So I guess they're just trying to see if the events that occurred match between what we have to say. Someone is also going around asking people at the hospital what exactly happened with the patient's care, if they saw anything, or if anything was said.
So I want to make something perfectly clear about the
She dropped
story
the
before
dime.
we get into the third part of it, because the third part is freaking off the rails. I'm just giving you a fair warning. It is off the
I
rails.
mean,
It's triggering.
snitching your blood sister out ain't already kind of off the rail.
Nope.
But she had a right to report her about that, giving that teen them drugs. Everybody did the same thing. Same thing. You don't be.
I'm sorry. No.
No, not that.
Not
Treating
this.
patients badly, that's one thing. That's just an attitude adjustment. No, when you give pain medications to shut her up, no, I'm reporting that, period. I don't care who
Because that's
you
not
are.
going to be the only one she did that to. Yeah.
Because exactly. It'd be more people that she does slip something to. And what if they have a bad reaction and they can't trace it? Nope, I'm telling. I would do it with her sitting there. It's like, yep, I'm telling on you now. How about that?
And the funny thing about it is I want everybody to keep something in mind, because I don't want somebody to look at this and go, oh, she ratted out her sister and everything. No, they've already had a report from the family. So
No, it's still not the same thing, Marlon. That's not the same thing.
no, what
Now, I
I'm
would like
saying,
to believe that
what
I
I'm
would
saying,
also do the same thing, but I'd have made an anonymous tip or
yeah,
something, maybe.
of course I'm
But
out of this one. But what I'm
I don't
saying,
know that how, yeah.
I don't want anybody to think the investigation of the sister was opened by the OP. The
But it might
investigation,
as well have been, though.
no, it was an add-on, because he
No,
said
you're missing
the
what I'm
family.
saying. She did not know there was an open investigation. She came forward to make her report. So her making the report stands alone. Everything else is extra. So she made that report on her own recognizance. I'm not saying she was wrong, because medical care is one of the most serious things you could possibly deal with. But that stands alone. That there was already another investigation, okay, it adds on to it, but that's that to
And
me that's separate.
this
That's
hospital is incompetent. Period. How many complaints do you have to have against a person? Like,
how many
dang.
complaints you need to get rid of a cop.
Well, let's go
You
back.
protect your own.
How many complaints have there been made? We're listening to the story. And we're saying that it's awful and everything else. That don't mean people complain. You literally have to put in a complaint. And how many times have this stuff been going on and nobody says anything at all?
They just be glad to get out of there.
It's done. She's terrible. Okay, we ain't got to deal with her no more. The next time we happen, we'll make a request to never, can we please not have this nurse near us the next time and everything else. We still live in a society where people do not like to rock the boat.
But that was my point about the sister. That's my point about the sister, because like I said, I would like to believe I don't know how I would have handled it. I know one thing that would have happened before I made that report to that hospital, though. I would have had enough balls, I would have had enough balls or ovaries if I was a woman to go and talk to my sister. Because if you scared to talk to your sister, that's your sister. You so scared of your sister, but you can go report her to her job. Before you did the other one, why didn't you call her to the carpet? You say you wanted to. Apparently, the families had conversations about her nasty attitude.
She did call her to the carpet. That's why the family is split on it. The family is split on it.
Yeah, the father taking the sister's side, and the mother and the aunt is taking her side.
Oh, I didn't read it that way. To me, it was just them.
Yeah, the two sisters had already argued.
Okay.
Yeah,
How the family was responding was to the reporting, but the two sisters did have it out. She finally said that was not cool, and they just.
And I'm also that's good. So
you don't understand.
But I'm also curious: would she have reported her if she wasn't pregnant? Would it have hit her the same way? I'm curious. Because sometimes your motivation shifts when you can see yourself
when you're completely affected.
I think she would have, but her being pregnant just expedited the process.
I don't know.
And plus, she wanted to get back her sister. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. I don't know. I'm on the fence on that. That's a good point. Would she have reported if she wasn't pregnant?
But that's good. Should have, assuming this story is true. That's.
Oh, jeebus.
I'm just saying. I know this is not real or not, but.
This sounds really real to me. I've had nurses do a whole bunch of crazy crap.
I done had some doctors who done some.
Yeah, that's what I've had.
You have some doctors now, especially when they're getting into the retirement age, where your health care is solely on you, pretty much. Why did you do?
You got to be your own advocate, but I'm not the one that went to medical school.
Yeah, like I went to medical school.
Pretty much.
I'm gonna take my own blood sample. Let me take it. Put it in. Oh no, give me that. Let me put.
How many times?
I'm supposed to go in.
How many stories?
I'm supposed to go ask my doctor for my medication.
Yeah, how many stories have we heard where ain't nothing wrong with you? And I know me and Foxy always make that joke where we always like, "Hey, you okay? Hey, you okay?" That's a funny joke between me and Foxy when we kid with each other and everything else. You all right? You okay? Blah blah blah. That ain't no joke when you talking about your health. That's not a joke anymore. But we've had
means something different coming from the doctor, don't it?
Yeah, it's so many
because then you're like, oh boy, did I have a health situation like that, and it's terrible. You never want to try, and then you find that one doctor that finally listens to you. It's like somebody's listening to me. Somebody's listening to me.
And that breaks my heart, and that's what upsets me.
Joy.
Yeah, that's what upsets me, because like Anna shared that with her story. I've watched it in my family, where you could go to the doctor every time, report what your symptoms are and all that, but it still will come down to, on the day you were talking to that doctor, did that doctor have personal connection with something, even beyond you, but something clicked, and they were like, let's try this, right? Because like a lot of times you hear that with people who deal with like fibromyalgia, right, where your nerves fire off and stuff like that. It triggers so many false things. But if it comes down to you having that, you could talk to 6 different specialists, and it'll be the 6th specialist
Or
that
8.
finally says, let's try this. Right.
Yep. I
And
went
that's not
through.
a knock on the doctors, but it's a knock on the system.
Yeah,
So
because they're trying to see like what 25 other patients, and they only got so much time with you because our healthcare system stinks. But hey, that's a whole different discussion. But it took me 8 doctors to get diagnosed. 8. It should not have taken but 1, but it took 8.
And yes, I will shed tears. This is a touchy subject, of course. I have seen over 6D in my search for a diagnosis. But I'm with Tracy. You shouldn't have to be searching more than 2 or 3.
Yeah, maybe
So,
2. Maybe 2 because the first one, that's an intern, so okay. But dang, how many times you gonna be? Actually, it was an
that
intern that actually diagnosed me with it. I was like, oh, thank you.
And I don't
that
want.
and medicine is an art and a science.
Yes, it
So
sure is.
the human body isn't like a robot. So, and that's the beautiful thing that's complicated about our bodies, right?
No 2 people
It's
are the
funny. I just
same.
said human body's not a robot, but at the same time, it kind of is, in that the human body will try to repair itself. And if something isn't working quite right, it'll reach over here, take a little bit from here, take a little bit from there. So your real issue is your kidney, but because your body's trying to adjust, you're checking the liver, you all out here when the real problem is at your kidneys, but that's because your body is trying to make a way to stay functional. So it's like that's why I'm saying I was like I can't really get at the doctors per se, but it's far too common that you have to be lucky enough to get the right specialist on the right day to
You
get
basically
something.
have to become, like you said, your own advocate. You have to make so much noise. You have to tell them, I'm not going to stop. I won't stop until you tell me what's wrong with me. I know there's something wrong with me. I'm not experimenting. No, just keep going back and keep coming back. And it's sad that you have to do it, but you have to essentially be your own advocate.
But I guess to me, it depends on, because I'm getting back to the nurse situation. It depends on me if a doctor is more apathetic to Tracy and we ran so many tests. I can't find what the situation is. I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong. I just don't understand
I
what
wish
it
one would have
is.
said that instead of
But
nothing's
we
wrong with
have
you.
so many
Nothing.
people like this nurse who sit there and just saying it's your fault.
Yeah, it's your
Of
fault for
what
being pregnant.
everything that you're going through is on you. So thank you for paying me to tell me that you need to fix whatever problem it is that you put yourself into.
Yeah,
It's the
don't.
Now,
of it.
sometimes there's a case for that, Marlon.
It is.
These women were
It
pregnant.
is.
There's no case.
But I
There's
mean, not in
no.
this case.
Not
Whoa,
I'm
this
whoa,
talking
case.
whoa. No,
about this
Tracy, there
one.
could be a case. Tracy, there could be a case.
Oh no,
You
no.
still need to treat these people with loving
There are
care
plenty of
and help
cases
them.
of it.
You know what I'm saying? You still need to treat somebody with loving care because that's your job. And you need to help them through this moment because that's your job. They're at the hospital. You're at the last stop here, right?
Yeah, that's the last
So,
stop.
right?
Where's they gonna go?
But if the reason you about to have a premature child is because you still refuse to stop smoking after we done told you to stop smoking, yeah, I'm gonna bring that up again. Okay? Because I need you to let this click, and we still gonna take care of you. And we gonna do everything to
No,
save
no.
your baby. And
But
we gonna do
you're
everything to
I'm gonna
save
assuming
tell you.
you.
that
I'm gonna
that's
give you a
why.
prime example. I'm gonna give you a prime
Well,
example
this
of
I'm
it.
assuming in this 1 second,
I'm gonna
Marlon.
give you.
I'm assuming that only in the example I just made. But in this case, the nurse would know because she has the chart.
If
But
you had
I'm
taken
sorry. Go
care
ahead,
of her.
Marlon.
But I'll give you a prime example of you need to take responsibility. You have a liver transplant coming up. One of the recommendations, one of the requirements, not even a recommendation, one of the requirements is you can no longer drink
Alcohol sure can.
any alcohol whatsoever until you do it. I have had stories of people who just could not do that. They had to drink. the doctors found out that you drunk, and you were taken off the list.
Taken off.
Yes.
Because they have
You're not gonna ruin another one.
Yeah, you're not gonna. Yeah, you might as well. What are we giving it to you for?
Why should they trust you at that point?
Right.
Obviously, if you can't stop drinking, you have a substance abuse issue. But I mean, that's just mean you got deeper issues. If they tell you don't drink, I mean, that'd be easy for me. I don't drink alcohol, but
Yeah.
if you just have to do something, you got some issues.
You do, and it's like you still going back to what Anna was hitting on. You still need to be compassionate to that person's medical issue.
Like we're not getting.
But we're not gonna pretend
That the issue
like
doesn't
what's
exist.
going on ain't happened.
Right.
So
I agree with that.
you are addicted
Absolutely.
to alcohol. We told you what you needed to do in order to qualify for this transplant. The transplant is now here. You did not do what you needed to do. For whatever reasons, whatever your addiction or dependency is, you didn't do it. So we got to move you to the back of the list because somebody else who is following the rules can be saved too. But we still need to work with you. Do you want to get clean? And you know, it's like, but our medical system is all topsy-turvy. And we'll just be like, you're off the list because it's a machine, right? We got to move. We got to move. We got to move. You know, you didn't do this. You didn't do this. You didn't do this. All right, you're off the list. You're in the back of the list. We got to move on.
Yeah,
and no one helps you.
We are not people. We are numbers.
They're not going to completely take you off the list. They will put you in the back of the list. You're
But they
darn
still
near at
need
the
to,
bottom.
like they said, work with them and say, hey, I can point you to AA. I can help you in a support group. I'm here for
They
you.
should. But our system isn't set up for the compassionate
our
care
system
side.
isn't set up for that.
All right, let's move on.
Oh, it's a third part, isn't it?
Yeah, there is a third part. Let's move on. Telling you this is woo-wee, so just prepare yourself.
Update. To sum it all up, things really hit the fan. This morning, my sister came over to where me and my husband live and started banging on our door. My husband opened the door and my sister barged her way in, screaming. I came into the living room where she was and she started screaming at me more. My husband had to stand in front of me because he was worried that she was going to lunge at me. My sister was yelling about how she lost her job because of some BS reports and that she knows it was me talking trash about her. Because you just couldn't stay out of my business. I replied that it was my business if she was bullying pregnant women and then bragging about it. My sister told me to F off, and she said once again that she could talk about anyone any way she effing likes as long as she gets her job done, because that's what she went to school for and that I don't know anything. I reminded my sister that I actually might know something since, I don't know, a certain teenager's family had something to say about her behavior as well. My sister proceeded to go on a rant about that B word in her family and how she was supposedly annoying my sister by giving birth. I had trouble processing what she said because it was honestly mind-boggling. And here's where things got really bad. I thought that my sister saying horrible things about her patients who hadn't done anything wrong was mean. I thought the nicknames were cruel. I thought that her telling mothers in labor that they weren't doing things right and giving drugs to a teenager and slut-shaming her was vile and, yes, misogynistic. However, it was about to get atrocious. During my sister's rant, she said that she wanted to teach that brat a lesson and said that maybe if she had given birth when she was older, her kid wouldn't have died. Oh my God. Holy sh**. My mouth dropped open. I didn't know this before. That poor girl. Her baby effing died. I was horrified. I fell to the floor sobbing. Imagining that girl in so much pain and my pregnancy hormones combined got me, and I was on the floor having a panic attack. I told my sister to get the F out of my home, and my husband escorted her out. My husband held me for a good 15 minutes until I calmed down. So yeah, I'm recovering from all that now. I don't plan on talking to my sister for a while. I do plan on announcing the pregnancy soon, but I'm putting it off until later.
We just crossing the real or not?
Did she say the baby died? Or did I miss that? I
No,
hope I heard that wrong. I hope I heard that wrong.
because here's the thing: either one, we've crossed into real or nah, and I'm gonna call BS on the story, or two, your sister probably has a chemical issue. It's like something ain't firing right with your sister, it could be because she has a chemical dependency or she's chemically imbalanced. One of the two, but something ain't firing right with your sister to not just be dismissive, which is what you've shown, not just be insensitive, which is what you've shown, but to actually be vindictive and cruel. That's different. And that's what that story just turned into.
I'm going to say something real quick while I still have my wits around me. And obligatory if the story is real, blah, 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 all that stuff. I would, at this point in time, have absolutely no desire to talk to, let alone be around my sister at this point ever again. But at the very least, absolutely no time soon.
I wouldn't say never, but it wouldn't be during my pregnancy.
No, I actually
No.
would not want to be involved with you during my pregnancy, after my pregnancy. I don't trust you enough around small children who are defenseless. I can't get the image out of my head of the way you feel about people with your premeditated decisions on what you feel that's a real mother.
But is it any different than these conservatives who feel like they can place judgment on your entire life based on their rule book?
It is.
And I'm not talking about the Bible, Tracy. I'm talking about
No,
their
no, no,
personal
no.
And
internal
I'm gonna
rule
tell you
book.
right this.
And they say that what you're doing is not what a mother should do, is not what a pregnancy should do, right? So they put that out on other people. Isn't she kind of displaying that?
And I'm gonna tell you what the
That kind
difference
of
is.
cruelty.
I'm gonna tell you what the difference is. From my point of view, I'm gonna tell you what the difference is. Because yes, you are absolutely right. There is no difference between the sister and the people who feel like this. The only difference is I didn't know my sister was like that until now. And now that I know, I can't do it.
Yeah. I've
I
been through
can't
some
do
stuff. I've been through some stuff with my family, and things that I never thought I could bounce back from or whatnot. And I've had a pretty good overall life, but I'm just saying the concept, the idea that I would legit just disown my brother for life.
Yeah, that's a
I can't even
ooh,
see
I
it.
don't even know.
Even if he turned into some kind of weird monster who was killing people and hiding them in the basement, he had to go to jail. But he's still my brother. So that I would be at war. It would be
I know.
now unless he did something to my family. Now that's different. He do something to my
But his
family,
family is your
I'll burn the
family.
whole world down. I'm talking about like my children or my wife.
I know, but that he should treat them like his family.
He should, but people don't do right. Right? My brother does, but I'm just saying people don't do right. So, but that's my red line though. Like my red line is my, what do you call it? Direct.
Immediate.
You know what I'm talking about? Immediate. My immediate family is my red line. Right? When I got married and started having children, that became my immediate family. And I'll burn the whole world down behind them. But outside of that, I just can't, especially in this case, because what her sister has done has not, to our knowledge, resulted in someone's demise. What she's been is cruel. Right?
She
She has been
gave
cruel.
drugs to a teenager to shut her up. She should be in jail. Period. I don't care if the girl left the hospital. Period.
I get it. I get it, Tracy. I get it. But what I'm saying is, you got parents who do that. You got family members who do let them sip beer. It is all these different shades of gray that happen in life. She should be prosecuted for whatever she does. I'm talking about the thing about disowning. Like, I will say, you came in my house and acted a fool, and then you told me that. That's a level of cruelty I can't deal with. And
That's
I'm going to have a healthy pregnancy. So you and I cannot interact at
At
any
least
time.
9 months.
That's what I mean.
Not while this is happening.
I may have misspoke when I said disown. I don't mean to say I disown them.
Yeah, because they're always going to be your relative. They'll just
They're
be that
always,
one you don't
they're
talk
always
about.
going to be my sister and everything else. What I'm saying is,
Sort of.
I can't see myself dealing with you until I can get over this. And I'm telling you off the bat, right here and right now, that is my decision. It is not my mom's decision. It's not my dad's decision, cousin, husband, everything. It sure as hell ain't the sister's decision. It is my decision
Yeah, what's
when
wrong
I
with
feel
that
like that
lady?
I can deal with it. From this point on, from the time that you walk out the door, when you bust through my door and my husband had to stand in front of me to stop you because you look like you finna kick my ass because your job is more important than you're making fun of somebody who lost their child, bruh, you reached a level of it is worse because we're listening to a story of strangers. It is
imagine who was
terrible,
going through that.
but let's put it in its place. We are listening to a story of strangers. We don't know these people. We would never meet these people. Let's switch it. This is this girl's sister. Somebody you grew up with.
Exactly.
Someone that
That's why it gets more complicated.
Someone that you was proud of, that this is something that she wanted to do since she was a child and she achieved it. And then you look back on it and realize your achievement turned you into an effing monster.
Sure did.
And I have to deal with that. Then on top of everything else, you're going to have to start thinking, did I see the signs and I just ignored it? Did I see the signs, but my love for my sister was stronger than the stuff that she was saying? Like, you know, how many people's lives did she put in danger? We don't know if she unalived anybody.
We don't know.
That was
you're
never
right.
said. But how many people who she made effing miserable being in that hospital from one person?
Everybody has an
How many
off
lives
day,
did she
but
put at
dang
risk?
on it, lady. Get another profession. Working
How many lives have you
fixing
put
cars
in
or
risk?
something. Because this nursing thing, it's not for you.
This ain't you.
And get some
I'm at the
therapy
point of
because
going,
something's wrong with you for blaming a mother for defecating during birth. That's what mothers do. Sorry, not sorry.
No, I'm just saying
I'm not
that.
sorry at all. It
I said
happened.
not
I'm
sorry.
just saying, like, if you do a job, especially a high stress job, right? You are full. When you're on. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I've never been a doctor. I've never been a trauma nurse. I've never been a labor and delivery nurse. Of course not. But I do know that when I was a claims adjuster and I'm constantly negotiating bodily injury, it did get to a point where you weren't people so much to me as a task, a process. You fall into my process. And if you would just stay in the process, all of this will go smooth. But anything outside of my process, you're now making my job more difficult. And I got 50 more like you I got to take care of, right? That can happen. I don't care what your job is, right? It really happens to nurses. It happens to soldiers. It happens to police officers. It happens to judges. Those roles, you stay in it and you don't have a way to ground yourself, people stop really being people, right? They become just a thing that you deal with. So now a judge who should look at a 21-year-old male or female and say they got their whole life ahead of them. Let's get them in front of a therapist or a psychologist to figure out where this person falls. So I know whether I'm looking at a 10-year sentence or a 5-year sentence with therapy, or send them straight to therapy, or you know what I'm saying? Like, that's where a judge should be. So you've been doing the job for 30 years. This is just one more person who robbed somebody.
Yep. And
10 years.
Yep, I'm tired of seeing them. Send them to jail. I'm tired. Let the prison system take care of them. Sad, but true.
Right. So that's why I'm like, I'm not trying to give this lady a pass because there's not one. I'm saying that she's showing the signs that either one, she's burnt out, or two, she ain't firing on all cylinders. And she needs to get away from the role before she does, if she hasn't already, before she does cost someone their life, or worse yet. I mean, and there's a case we say, like, there's nothing worse than losing your life, but there could be. Because serious disability, depending upon the person who ends up with it, that could be almost worse than death, right? So this lady could cost someone a lot, get her out of this role. She may never be able to come back because she may be too far gone. Or she just really needs to, she's on the verge of an anxiety, like, mental break. Like, you've heard those people who just snap, right? They were normal yesterday. and
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
What I really caught in her rage at her sister was, "You need to stay out of my business." Like, you yourself didn't go out of your way to tell your sister about all of these
And she was
asshole
meddling in other people's business when she told them, if you had taken care of yourself, you wouldn't have been. That's meddling.
But
That's
because
stay
and
out of the
I'm
business
gonna
I
answer
brought
both
you into.
questions. I'm gonna answer both questions. Anna, what your statement is saying was you need to stay out of my business, aka I have the right to vent about everything else. You my sister, so nothing should leave these four walls. And
wrong.
because you reported me, it was now you in my business. Tracy, what you're discussing, there's an answer to that because unfortunately, just like we've dealt with people on this show, in the comment section and everything else, you was getting in the business of these people because I'm doing the good work. So
Who said she done with good
I
work?
am still doing my job. I'm not ignoring what I'm supposed to be doing. So when people are certain people who say I'm being a nurse and a doctor and everything else because I like to heal people. I like to help people. I like to help people get better. This lady flat out thinks, but I have to give them advice too about their
Advice
life
is
and their
one thing.
lifestyle and things like that. That is also a part of my business.
Advice is one thing, but again, there's a time and a place for everything.
And this woman thinks the
Not
time
when you
place
feel like
is
you have
there.
a calling.
Yep,
Not
exactly.
when you feel like you have a calling. When you feel like you have a calling, whatever hits you, you say it.
She need to be
Especially
in
those
another
really mean,
profession.
rude people
She need to be
who
a
think
car
that
mechanic or something that don't deal with people. Because she don't need to be nowhere in public. No. Be a
She don't
I
think
agree
politician.
she
with
did
you.
anything wrong. She
Be a
just don't think she
politician.
did
That don't
anything
require
wrong.
no empathy. Just do that. Run for office. Shoot. Forget it.
And Mickey, that's what I was saying. We also don't know if the nurse was always nasty. It's possibility she was always lacking empathy. And that's what I was saying was the sister
True.
now, the OP and the sister, the sister, also have to think, did I not see this already and I ignored it because she's my sister?
Probably yes.
And
Answer to that's easy.
it is so many layers of this. It's like
That's why they say hindsight is 20/20.
20.
You look on things differently when you have that extra knowledge.
Yeah, but she need to change her number, get a restraining order, because she gonna come back. She's coming back. She one and one. She gonna keep. She's gonna tell everybody how her sister ratted her out. Although the drugs, I've been like, nah, I'm telling you.
She'll leave all that stuff out.
No.
She'll just say that
That story is not going to be
her
part
sister
of the.
reported her job.
Oh yeah, you're right.
And it wasn't even true. It wasn't even true.
It wasn't even
and my
like
sister
that.
went and made trouble for me. She ain't gonna tell the rest of it.
No.
She was jealous of
or
me.
we'll just pull a Trump move and just sit there and say, I was reported by my sister and all these people, and
Yeah, all these people.
Say it with me. It was fake news. Wasn't true.
Because, and this is a sad thing, and I'm trying to work through this. What's that guy's name? He's the guy on MSNBC. He's an amazing debater. He has a book out right now.
Oh, Hassan.
How to win an argument.
I can't never think of his name. First name.
Mehdi Hassan.
Oh, Mehdi Hassan. Sorry.
Mehdi Hassan. So one of the points he was making is, because this is one of my fatal flaws. I live so much in what I view to be logic that I really suck sometimes at emotional intelligence. So sometimes I feel like if I just give you the facts, we should be good, right? I gave you the information. Why are we not on the same page? Missing that people make their decisions emotionally. Right? This is one of the reasons why I never enjoyed sales, because in sales, you're supposed to understand people buy emotionally and then they rationalize their purchase intellectually. And then I like to lead with intellect, right? So maybe that's part of this weird dynamic that this is going on. So all I can say is get this lady out this role. Get out the role.
Be a mechanic or a politician, because girl, you young.
Now don't be a mechanic, because she'll be on some. I don't even like their attitude. I'm not even gonna put their brakes on right.
I'm not sure what job would be right for her, but
don't work in daycare.
Politician.
That's what I said. Politician.
Bill collector.
Oh, she could be one of them them annoying bill collectors.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she'll do that because she ain't got to see them. Yes, that's what she can do.
Yep.
What's up?
Be a collections
What's up? Learn life. Where you been, man?
Hey, what's good?
Or woman or non-conforming individual. The first step is admitting it, and no, because again, it was everybody else's fault but hers. And the funny thing
that's what I was going to say.
The funny thing about it is she's not even saying it did well. No, she didn't. She didn't.
She's not saying that right now.
Was it true? She just flat out said it was reported.
Right, and she knows where it came from because there's only one person she told.
Well, that's her fault for not keeping her big mouth shut. How about that?
I agree. I'm not in your business. You put me in the business.
You put me in it.
But then I was going to say, everybody wants to be the hero or the victim in their own story.
Yep.
They're very seldom are they the villain. Right? They're either the victim or the hero. Oh, Tracy, I got the fire truck out here by my place. You hear that? Oh, good.
God, dog, Tracy, you sending fire trucks?
You done sent them to Georgia.
Dang. Tracy, you something though. Parker, I'm not gonna put your comment up until like the end of the show because I just don't want to deal with the outcome. And like I said, I've been on this show for a very long time with these people. I don't even want to deal with it right now. I will put it up at the end of the show. So
I don't understand. Now that ain't right, Marlon. You done brought it up.
I'm not.
I see.
How you gonna decide what we can see?
Because I know, and I hate to say you people, but you people, I know how you all are. I'm not gonna put that comment up until the end of the show. Now, I don't want to end the show. Am I the a-hole on that crap?
Was that the worst person of the year nomination?
Yeah, that's the worst person of the year
okay. I'm like,
nomination.
yeah.
Everybody has agreed that should be a nomination. And she's in there.
Could we? Well, I don't want to say can it get worse, but it will.
Yeah.
Can always get worse.
I know. I'm like, can it get better?
So I'm gonna end. Am I the a-hole off with something a little more lighthearted, but when I say lighthearted, it's more or less like, "Ooh, you stupid."
So, I'm a 27-year-old woman who's no contact with my dad, and I have been for about 5 years. I had him blocked on everything except email until a few weeks ago. I never check my email, but on a whim, I was looking through it and I stumbled across an email that he sent me a little over a month ago. In the email, he basically demanded that I talk to him and work out our differences. He essentially talked to me like I was 10 and he can just order his way back into my life. Then, in the same email, he threatened me, saying that if I don't speak to him, he's gonna take me to court for grandparent rights to get access to my kids. On one hand, I'm floored and so shocked that he thinks talking to me that way will make me want him back in my life. But on the other hand, it's hilarious because I don't have any kids, nor do I want them. What a clueless, useless, garbage person.
Oh no, that's not good. He has either Alzheimer or dementia. You don't put this is one of those.
I don't think it's either one of those things.
I do, because this is what my father did. He would say your kids to me, and I have 0 children. He was confusing
But you were in contact.
But you was in contact with
No,
him.
but
You
we
were in
all
contact
were.
with your dad, though.
But all of us were.
My
That's what
thinking.
I think this is one of the ones. I'm like, he made. Oh boy.
My thinking to this, Tracy, is that was a shot in the dark. You ain't been in contact with him in 5 years. I don't know if you got married in 5 years. I don't know if you got kids in 5 years. So I'm gonna put a shot in the dark that you done had kids in these last 5 years. And my only ramification of getting in contact with you, aka controlling you, is to go grandparents' rights. But truth be known, he didn't know jack squat about.
I'm hoping that's it, because boy, that just sounds like, oh boy, all the signs were there.
That and what I have seen him in the world is you were a crappy parent. You were a crappy parent when they were little. You were a crappy parent when they were growing up. And you were a crappy parent when they're an adult. And now that you're approaching the final curtain call,
true,
you want to be a grandparent. And you think you should have rights as a grandparent that arguably you gave up when you gave up being a parent. So it's purely up to the child, meaning your child, if you are even allowed back in. And in so doing, you need a relationship with your child before that child owes you anything to the grandchild. But that's just my 2 cents on that.
Okay, it's starting to thunder, lightning, and pour. And Mickey, in case everybody missed it, because me and Anna was on here, there is a huge thunderstorm, including hail and high winds that's over Mickey right now. She has all her rechargeable lamps and lanterns going on. So if Mickey drops out, thank you. But if
Stay
you're
safe,
new to
Mickey.
Let us know that you're okay, please.
Yeah, if you're new to this show, we've said it once and we've said it 1,000 times. Please take care of yourself. We are not that show where we need you. Don't you drop off. No. We have never
We
been.
do need you, though.
We need you.
But we need you safe.
We need you here. We need you safe. That's what we need you as.
And to get a few more likes from me and some subscriptions from me.
Yeah.
And Anna. Get some more subscriptions from me and Anna.
Thank you.
And stay safe, everyone.
How about
And
stay
Mickey, most
safe?
importantly, make sure you reach. I don't know which one of us you have direct contact with, but whoever it is, please let one of us know that you're okay. That's just please.
She has a message with Tracy and I, so if you could just drop a
And probably
safe.
Marlon.
And me too.
Yeah, really, we both got you. We got you. We love you, babe.
She may have a good reason for not staying in contact with him, and if she did have kids, she may have a good reason for not wanting kids around. There lies the creme de la creme, dude. If you didn't even know that I don't have grandkids, and if I did have grandkids, I mean, if I did have kids, why would you think I would still? And I'm going by what Thiz was saying. It's a final curtain call. You couldn't even be man enough to just go,
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
You have kids now. I want to be in their lives.
Not
I want
yours,
to
but
get
the
to know
kids.
them. But you went straight to, I'm going to take you to court.
But wait a minute, Marlon. That sounds like a crappy apology too. Hey, don't want to be a part of these grandchildren that don't exist. He just gonna skip over the mother like that. I want to be a part of the grandkids. Like you gonna just skip the mama like that?
Not really,
but-
because at a certain point, you may have an understanding of it's just not going to work between me and the mom, me and the parent. We have too much stuff. We have too much baggage,
And the children are gonna pick up on
and
that.
we will get along. Go ahead.
I'm a little confused. The person, are they the father? Are they the father of an imagined child? Like, who are they?
Father of the poster.
The father of the OP
Thank
is
you.
saying this. Yeah. So
Thank you.
there comes a point where you literally can sit there and say, you know what, Thiz, you're my father. We have way too much baggage. We can be cordial, but let's just face it, we ain't gonna be close. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But me and the grandchildren, we have every right to get to know each other, to get to discuss it, as long as I'm respectful, i.e., I'm not putting down you in front of them. You do not put down me in front of them. I can be in their lives. So
Yeah, I
Tracy,
mean,
I can deal. It is what it is, but that doesn't mean that I have to get pulled away from the grandchildren.
Yeah. Because there could be a wrinkle in this, which is a very common wrinkle, where for whatever reason, when she was younger, he went to prison. And he missed out on her formative years. And they never were able to close that gap. And so they just don't have that relationship. She's still angry because I heard someone say once that your emotional well-being is only as old as your emotional trauma. So like if your emotional trauma happened when you were 12 and you are stressed out to a certain point, you revert back to that trauma response when you were 12. Like it's a weird, I don't know how that stuff works. But anyway, they could have some damage that they're not going to overcome.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that he's a bad person. He just wasn't a good father.
Yes.
So she may ultimately be, if they had some type of relationship, she could maybe be like, look, you can see the grandchildren if I'm physically there. Right?
But of course they
don't pretend like you and I have a traditional mom and dad, daughter and dad relationship. Don't even pretend. Because if we're gonna build something, we can build something, but it ain't happening for as far as I can see it.
Because if you look at it, it's no different than two divorced parents.
Except we're debating someone who doesn't have children.
Yeah, because we're stretching to the fact that she have children, but it's no. God, I don't even want to finish that sentence. So yeah, we'll debate like she have
answer
kids.
Parker's
So
question.
sorry, I don't even want to finish that
I would
sentence.
like to answer Parker's question.
What? How do you say I have rights to see your child's kids when you've never even had any? Also, what even is grandparents' right? Go ahead, Tracy.
Okay, so grandparents' rights is a new phenomenon. I can't say the word right, but it's something new that's basically came up. Where the grandparents will sometimes take their children to court if the parent is just totally incompetent. They have substance abuse issues they're not getting treatment for. They're not financially taking care of the children, and they get full custody. Sometimes the grandparent will take the child to court if for some odd reason the child is preventing them from seeing the child, although that one usually is rare because essentially the parent has a right to determine who and who does not see their child. But it's becoming more and more common for grandparents to take their children to court to see their children.
Okay,
But
wait a minute. Let me stop you.
Grandparents' rights are very real and they're very
Grandparents,
important.
yeah, that's what I'm about to say.
But they're
Grandparents'
real. I
rights.
didn't say they weren't.
Grandparents' rights.
No, I
are
was just
real.
saying another angle.
Grandparents' right just so happen to not be in every state.
Yeah, it's not in every state because it's not in Indiana.
Even if it is in that state, it's very hard to
prove.
achieve.
Yes.
So
it's
Tracy,
hard.
on one point that you did say, yeah, the parents have to be the most drug addict. You just have to be.
That's a custody thing. That's a custody.
Yeah, that's why I say when they're pursuing custody of the child.
But when you're talking about grandparents' right,
if I'm listening to it right, do you not have to get grandparents' right before you even try to get custody?
Right, there's
not necessarily, and they can happen at the same time. But when you talk about grandparents' rights,
I was
it's
talking
my
about the second.
right to be involved in my grandchild's life. And where I've seen it is where the mother and the father of the child are not married. And so the mother who has custody of the child blocks the father's side of the family from having any interactions with the grandchild. Now, I have seen that. And then they have to petition the courts to have some level of involvement with their grandchild because you got a problem with the baby's father. You don't have a problem with me.
That's hard to prove.
So why are you blocking me from?
Yeah, but the parent has a right to say who the child can see and who
to an extent.
And then we can make the decision
to an extent, but that's why you go to courts.
Yeah, you have to make that decision in court.
And the mom doesn't have to be like drugged out or anything. It could just be that she's being malicious towards the father and it's having an impact on the grandparents who also want to be involved in their grandchild's life.
No, well, and like I said, Parker,
that's what I've seen.
To try to actually use this that statement. We're on a tangent of reality. That's what grandparents' rights is, and as this subscribe just said, no, the parents don't have to be on substance abuse and everything else. The grandparents want to be in their grandchildren's life.
Isn't that happening with Ricky?
But like I said, on the same token, we're talking as if this woman had grandchildren.
She doesn't have any children.
She didn't even have children. So,
well, he has grandparents' rights to the fictitious children.
And how many times have we taken a situation and then gone, let's look at it from a different angle with a slightly different plot?
Every time, all the time.
When the first time
pretty good at that.
On the show together, that's when we started. Boy, we will take pause.
And then what if she had a dog?
I've seen couples go to court, and this is real. I've seen couples go to court to see who has custody of the dog. And
that's the fur baby?
Yes, that is literally for real. I'm like, y'all going to court. The court should just be like, you know what, get out of my face with this mess, but they got to hear it.
No, because a dog...
That's not true. That's not true.
A dog and a cat, like, they have a personality.
It's a decision
I don't care.
In divorce papers. It has been decisions in divorce papers of who have custody of the pets. No, it's
and the visitation for the other person.
And the visitations and everything else. No, that's not a get out of my face.
And they're not doing it. They're not doing it on par as if it were a child, but it's very similar because a pet is treated like property. So when they're dividing the property, somebody's going to get the dog, but both people are attached to the dog. So sometimes they have to work something out like that. Oftentimes, what I believe happens is one of them gets the dog and the other person just lost a dog, right?
Yeah, get another
because
one.
it gets complicated.
You
can't just
that dog is attached to the other person.
Get another one. I said what I
You
said.
don't switch dogs out like they're a pair of socks. There's a grieving process that's going to come.
Go through your grieving process.
You have
get
the
another
dog.
Tracy
No, you and I are married. We get divorced.
Yes, I did have
You
pets.
take the dog.
Yes, I did have pets. Didn't
No,
like them then.
but
Don't
Tracy,
like them now.
I get it, and that'll
So
make
that's
it
my
real
point.
easy for him, the other party, to get the dog. But in a case where they both love that dog and the dog loves both of them, whoever does not get the dog is going to go through a grieving process. Now, they may end up going to get a puppy to try to get through with the process, but it doesn't change the fact that they're grieving.
I didn't say they couldn't
losing.
grieve. I just said get another dog.
Tracy, I'm glad you're not a judge because, you got custody. You got custody of my child.
I wouldn't do that with the children.
Child.
Children are a totally different thing.
Tracy don't even like kids. Could you imagine?
No, that's
when
not
they
right.
said,
No, that's not
split
true.
the baby, and Tracy
that
be
is
like,
not
well,
true.
split it then.
That is not true. I only like 3 children. There are 3 children that I like. 3. I do not dislike all children. That is not a true statement.
That's fair. That is fair.
About.
I stand corrected.
No, he said all children. I said no. There's 3.
No.
That's like I don't dislike all black people. I got 3 black friends.
Josiah, Layla, and Timothy.
They all related.
Foxy's videos of the week. You got an attitude. The first video is actually something that me and Anna was talking earlier when anybody wasn't on.
Marlon's rude.
From the corner. Oh,
you're not God. You're not gonna be speaking from the cloud.
No, that was the corner.
Me and Anna was speaking of because Anna was the only one that showed up on time.
We told you we would be late.
We did not. You did.
Yes, I did. Oh,
you did.
I did not communicate my tardiness.
I apologize. He's not paying you, sis.
I apologize for having to address a family issue on your time, sir. I do apologize. It was.
Do you have documentation? Do you have documentation?
I do not.
So we really don't know if there was an issue or not. Then.
So you need to put me on a performance improvement plan, I guess.
For 6 months on being. God,
This will be a verbal. It's not going in your actual file, but this is a conversation that we both know is happening.
Which is bull crap because it's a verbal. You wouldn't know that it's a verbal, so it is going into your report because the next action would be written. How would you know it would be written if you didn't document the verbal?
No, verbal you don't document. That's why it's verbal.
Tracy, if I give you a verbal,
you document that it happened. But you
you just say I told Fans to stop being late.
There's no way of me giving you the second strike of being written because I've already given you a verbal. How do you know you giving me a verbal? You did document it.
You just say,
Yes.
I told them don't be late no more.
The difference is really a pretty big one. So a verbal is only documented on one side, right? I'm the one that delivered the verbal. So in your file, it'll say, had a discussion with blah, blah, blah. And that's kind of it, right? Then the written is going to be one that's going to be all typed out, and you got to read it, and I got to read it. You're supposed to sign it, even if you don't. And then I got to sign it.
And then I got to put my
it's filed
side
away.
in there and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Well, technically, you ain't got to sign it.
If you want a job, you do.
You don't have to.
You're not going to have a job anymore, but hey, whatever.
No, they're not going to fire you for not signing it.
No, they're not going to fire you. They're just.
But if you really think they're going to give you any extra chances, you'd have lost your mind.
Wait a minute, because I didn't sign a warning and I got shown the door.
Well,
you're probably in an at-will state.
And no,
that's right.
No.
Indiana is an at-will state. Yeah.
What I'm saying is, you don't have to sign it. But you also realize that you're putting your promotion, your raises, or anything like that that's a normal situation.
But you never going to get it because you didn't sign that.
You're putting that on
at jeopardy.
In jeopardy.
Not only that, but you could be in a situation where I put it in front of you, and then I say, okay, I need you to sign this because it documents that we had this discussion, blah, blah, blah. You're like, I ain't signing that. Okay, well, it's important that you do sign it because if you don't sign it, then you're violating company policy. Forget you and company policy. I'm not signing that. I don't agree with that. Okay, so right now, what you're doing is considered to be insubordination according to the policy of the company. Insubordination? What, you trying to threaten me? No, I'm just letting you know if you don't sign this, then that's what it's classified as, and it could lead up to and including termination. And then you say, I'm still not signing it. Well, it's been a pleasure working for you. I need you to go ahead and give me your badge because we're not going to be able to get past this. And I wish you the best in your future endeavor.
And I'm not giving you a letter of reference.
I know, Parker, but this is going by something.
Can you tell I've delivered the message a few times?
Look, somehow, some way, they hired LaQuisha. LaQuisha got a damn attitude at the end of the day, so we're gonna keep moving on. With
why her name got to be LaQuisha?
Thank you.
Why it couldn't be Kimberly or Jane?
Ashley, Monica.
Okay, first of all, two of those names ain't never gonna be in discussion because I grew up with them and they wouldn't do stuff like that.
They're the only ones who got those names.
Yeah, Tracy got 3 people, so I got 2. What's your point?
I'm just saying.
Okay. Me and Anna at the beginning of the show, leaving out all the rest of the stuff that we was talking about. If you're going to have an argument with someone that you disagree with, 1, please know what the hell you're talking about. 2, have your ducks in a row, aka do your own research and acknowledgement and references and everything else. 3,
what if I'm allergic to ducks?
3, most importantly, just know what the fuck you're talking about.
Who wants to watch me tear apart a misogynist who tried coming for me while drinking a Bud Light? Let's go.
Guns are not the main killer of kids. That's traffic accidents. Get your fucking facts straight. It's all over the internet. Look it up.
It's the confidence for me. Here's a report from the New York Post, which is basically the Fox News of newspapers. Guns now leading cause of death for American children, CDC says. I found it on the internet. But let's continue.
Nobody gives 2 flying fucks about homes with 2 mommies. I mean, I'm sure you got lesbians stuck on the mind for some reason. It's kind of a reflection on yourself.
Oh, they don't? Interesting. Banned books in 2022. My 2 moms. Seems like they really went out of their way to not give a shit about something. But I'm the one with lesbians on my mind. I wonder what your internet history looks like. But let's keep going.
And I'm sure sooner or later, somebody's gonna just come on here and fucking annihilate you anyways and take your theories and just rip them to shreds.
Oh, you mean like I just did to you? See, that's what happens when you spit in the wind. It just comes back to hit you in the face.
Because I don't have the time or the patience to do it right now.
Oh, but you clearly had the time, because you made this video. But it's not the patience you lacked. It's the facts. But continue.
You seem like the type of person that has to be reminded to breathe.
Says the guy whose voice is quivering as he makes his video. You see, it says there that you're a vet. And even though you were very rude and condescending, I thank you for your service. But guess who else is fighting for our rights right now and sacrificing their lives? The children of this country protecting your Second Amendment. You mentioned you have a son who's a high school sophomore. I'm sure he has TikTok. And I just hope he doesn't see this, for his sake. But you kind of nailed my sign off, so I'll let you finish this video.
So, bye.
First of all, I'll be the first to know that I don't have the high range of production that I want on this show. Especially my editing and things like that. We have noise in the background sometimes and everything else. And I apologize, but as you can see through some of the videos that I've shown in the past, we've getting better and better and better every year. So the first thing I want to tell this dude, whatever that industrial fan that you got going on in the background, or motor engine, or whatever the hell it was that you were playing in the back, could you turn it off for a second? You sound like you're in somebody's warehouse. And this was a last minute dish. Second of all, gun violence is the leading cause of death among children, have been out for years now. This is not a month-to-month situation. It has been years now. You need to do research when you say something as heinous as that crap. It's not cute or funny or catch somebody off guard or whatever. Third of all, stop telling people about lesbians and everything on somebody else's mind when you're the one who actually came up with that thought. Like, okay. So I'm done. I'm done. Everybody's speechless? What in the world?
I mean, there wasn't much for me to really say about.
She said it.
There wasn't much to say about that video. I mean, I don't care about his background noise because, wherever you record. It's TikTok, whatever. But he obviously didn't know what he was talking about just because he was just regurgitating what had happened.
That poor little boy suntan his balls so much that they have just shrunken and wrinkled like a raisin. Mickey.
Keep coming.
Marvin, you don't have to put up everything.
I do, especially from Mickey. I actually kind of do.
Because then I'm going to start laughing at Thea's going to think she laughing.
And I'm not laughing at Thea, but
I'm not.
Right, I should have waited. Why did this guy in the video keep looking away from the camera every 2 seconds?
Thank you. I thought I was the only one that noticed that.
You did that for effect.
Like,
that's just his situation. Yeah. That was to look away because I'm thinking, and then I'm coming up with something, and I'm thinking.
But sometimes people do that.
Coming up with something.
Like, I look away sometimes.
Or he wanted to know, did you smell what he was cooking? Because he did that whole Rock thing. Like when The Rock does that dramatic turn, the wrestler, The Rock, he did the dramatic turn. And he
looks like the kind of guy who watches a lot of wrestling. But
yeah, The Rock does that dramatic turn. He looks up and then he turns back to the camera.
Yeah, but no, I mean the big thing is just he was talking conservative talking points. anything to deflect from
The
what's
truth.
happening. Well, that's just it about the truth. The truth is a funny thing. So if he says that the number one killer of children is vehicular accidents, perhaps you could find a funny sourced thing somewhere that would say that, right? June and July 2022, more children died in car accidents than, right? So the truth is a funny thing. And what I wish we could find a way to center arguments on more is find out what those people believe in and then use their beliefs against their talking point, right? Like you're saying guns don't kill people, people kill people. I'm like, okay, well, can you describe for me the people who have committed the mass murders over the last 3 years? Like what's that demographic breakdown? All of them. Don't break it. Don't, all of them. What's the demographic breakdown? Right? Make them go to the thing that they're talking about. But it's hard to do that. Media is not inclined to do that. Um, like the guy, Marlon, you saw the post that I shared about, Jesus said, get your swords and follow me.
Yeah.
Right? And they use that to justify why you should have guns. And I'm like,
Two different.
that's a stretch.
Yeah, that's a real stretch. That ain't just a stretch. That's just taking something out of total context.
Right?
Well,
And Jesus didn't say to his followers, take your
weapon.
sword and knock everybody down.
And I have yet to see anybody have a mass sorting.
Or a handgun shootout. Don't know, but mass killers, when the last time you heard one happen with a handgun? Never.
No, we had one just recently with a handgun. We did.
Yeah, we did.
It was one of them. He had a extended magazine.
Extended magazine. I'm talking about just a regular run of the mill.
But still a handgun. Still a handgun.
But
right?
he modified it, right?
Well, you can buy an extended magazine. Clip goes right in. And you go from having 8 shots or 10 shots to having, 30.
So
it's crazy,
one person went on a mass shooting with a handgun, which
But
handguns,
Tracy is
handguns
saying,
are
it's
actually
very rare that you took the
it's always
market.
Yeah, the market
gun.
handgun and just went.
No
it's
modifications,
one type of weapon
like that, and just go and.
But the thing is, guys, the number one firearm attributed to death for children and adults is the handgun. The handgun is number one, right? Because a rifle is really hard to turn on yourself. You can do it if you try real hard, kind of hard to do. Shotgun, similar situation. Pistol, a kid can just pick up your gun and boom, it just goes off, or it's real easy for them to pull the trigger. There's so many things. The handgun is the number one killer. It's just that the thing that we get the most press about because it kills the most people at one time.
Yeah, I'm talking about mass shootings.
Are those rifles?
Yeah, I'm not.
Right. But if you take all the quote unquote assault rifles off the market, you will still have a lot of gun deaths because we have a lot of guns.
More guns than people.
And that's why the argument needs to be more focused on gun control. And I
agree.
And I agree with people who go with the assault rifles and blah 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 and everything else, but I don't want you to take your eyes off of it's still a version of a gun.
I'm trying to get
still
people
a version of a weapon. It is what it is. It's a version of a weapon. I don't want you to get into the concept of assault to rifle to shotgun to.
Yeah, I really wish people would focus on an issue from the standpoint of what is the desired outcome and then work backwards, right? Because if your focus is you want less gun deaths, then we need to focus on how do we control access to the weapons themselves. How do we increase liability for the weapons? How do we start tacking on the things that would make them safer and less abundant. I don't agree with banning assault rifles per se. I'm not against it, but I'm not really for it either because there's too many ways, too many loopholes to adjust. So now an assault rifle is just because of what it looks like. Okay, well, we'll change what it looks like. Or I think I told you guys before, especially when it comes to like these AR-15 things, it all depends on what that butt stock is. If it's an actual butt stock, it's a rifle. But if it's an arm brace, it's a pistol. It's the same gun. The only thing I changed was the back of it, right? So they'll play games with you, and I think that's part of what slows down the whole process. But me, I'm like, make it so you have to register them, right? Unless you're a criminal, why are you upset about registering your weapon, right? Somebody sold it to you, so they know what they sold you. So stop with this whole, the government doesn't need to know what I have. It knows what car you have. It knows where you live.
They know your social security number.
Thank you. It knows your birthday. I mean, come on, y'all. So you have to register your weapon. You have to insure your weapon. Your cost of insurance can go down if you have training. Your liability requirements can go up depending upon what type of gun you chose to get, right? You want to get a bolt action rifle for going hunting? Liability insurance is pretty low. You want to go get an AR-15? Insurance premium goes up through the roof. I mean, get what you want, but you're going to have to be held accountable to that which you wish to have. Plus, I would love to have full disclosure, I'm an armed citizen, right? So I would love to say where we marry technology with this stuff. I mean, make it so I can have a ring that if my ring is not on my hand, the trigger will not pull, right? That's not space age technology, folks. If the ring isn't present, the trigger lock won't release. So now my child can't just grab my gun, right?
You know
The
what
gun
that costs
enthusiast
for?
was,
It costs money to do that, and the manufacturers aren't willing to do it.
No, but that's just it. That's just it. That's the beauty of it. I'm not saying don't sell the other guns. I'm saying make these available too. Yeah. Now the gun manufacturer makes money both ways. So the manufacturers just want to make money. Give the people their choice. Yeah, no. You will find that more people would be inclined to have that type of protection than they would to have the one where there's nothing, right? Because there's going to be families that raise their children from 5 years old, how to respect a gun, how to use a gun, and all that stuff. They're not going to want that type of technology on the gun. But you're going to have people like me or city people, quote, city folk. Well, we'll be like, no, we do want these controls because I don't want somebody to be able to steal my gun and go do horrible things, right? I don't want my kid to have a bad day at school and take my guns to school, right? So I just think there's things we can do that make sense, that cut across all these groups. But what we have is an elected class. Once they get elected, they don't listen to none of us anymore.
Nope, you right about that.
And that's a big problem.
Okay, let's move on to the next video. So, an apology to Theus. Last week I showed a video of a religious argument between two people. And I called it a circular argument. It is, through all our yelling and screaming and everything, said that's not a circular argument. And I just kept talking and talking and talking. Come to find out it wasn't. That is not a circular argument. I don't know what you would call it. But it wasn't a circular argument. I defined it the wrong way.
I don't even remember, but okay.
Well,
I do.
Yeah, I do. It's the video where I went all the way off on.
Yeah, I remember video. I just remember the argument. But I'm sorry, Marlon. Go ahead.
Well, it wasn't an argument. It came and it went. It just was that quick. Because I just like you just said it's not a circular argument, and I think we just spewed over it. We actually got into the video, but you was correct. It's not a circular argument, and I don't want people. And I actually need to go back and change the title of what I've written because that's not a circular argument. This, however,
I like the little clip you did.
No, I'm not changing the clip. I'm just
cute.
changing the title of it. I just changed the title of it because I don't want people to define certain things that's not what it is. This, however, this is a circular argument.
What harm does it do to people? Why is it bad?
What harm?
Yes, please tell me.
What positive about it?
Wait, what's positive?
That is immoral. That's not immoral.
Yeah, wait. If a thing doesn't have a positive impact on society, that makes it immoral, correct?
Correct. Very correct.
Now, if somebody is in a happy, consenting relationship, adults, and they're happy in the relationship for the rest of their life, how is that not positive?
Positive for who?
Them.
So if it's positive, then why so many people against it?
I don't know. That's why I'm asking you.
To society, it's immoral.
So why
immoral
to society is it immoral?
Something bad.
Okay, so why is it bad?
Immoral is something bad.
Okay, so why is it bad?
Because it's not good.
Come on, bro. Like, stop trolling, dog.
Yo.
It's not trolling.
This is a microphone. I would plug this into my thing. Okay? Would me putting this on my table, is that good or is that bad? Or is that neither good nor bad?
No, that's the act that you put it on your table.
Right. So it's neither good nor bad. You would agree with that, right?
Right.
Okay, so if something is neither good nor bad, that means it is not good, correct?
Or it's not bad.
Okay, so we're getting there. So when it comes to homosexuality, there's no good and there's no bad. It just is. It's like putting this on the table. That's the argument that I'm making. Unless you can give a reason for why it's bad.
No, it's not. It's bad because it's immoral.
Okay, now why is it immoral?
Because it's bad.
Okay, you played that last week, didn't you?
Yeah, we saw it before, but you know what's funny? The sad thing about this is that gentleman, the one that sounds like Herschel Walker, that guy, he would never be deemed competent to stand trial. Like, that argument that these two people were just having was actually, I was low-key offended. Because you're having a conversation with someone that you intentionally chose to have a conversation with that you knew was not on your intellectual level. You knew that they would just be doing gibberish. Because by the second round, you know what you got, right? You know you have a guy, because it's bad. Well, why is it bad? Because it's not good. Well, why is it not good? Because it's immoral. Well, why is it immoral? Because it's bad. Well, why is it bad? Because it's not good. You know what you're dealing with. Stop it. Just stop. Because now you ain't doing nothing but making a spectacle out of this person's lack of intelligence or facility with the argument. So I don't know. It just felt like you're punching down. It felt like you were making him the joke, which he turned into being the joke.
Boy, we could see the same video and come to two different conclusions.
Tracy, do you have something on your face?
No.
The other side, around your mouth. The other side.
What? You asking us about we live?
Nope, just my face. It's just my face. I know I have an acne breakout, but that's just my face.
We're waiting on Marlon to do the dad thing.
Well, no,
I really want to because there's something red around her lip.
My lips, they're red. I mean, the bottom one is red.
I said by your lips, not on your lips.
There's nothing on my lip.
You did.
Why are you looking
Am
at
I
her
the only
lips?
one that sees that?
Yes, I'm gonna say that you are, brother.
Yeah, I don't see it. If it's there, somebody else
Now I'm
point it out.
blind, so that's not saying much. So
Why are you looking at her lips, Marlon?
Yeah, why are you looking at my lips, Marlon?
Y'all ain't even gonna try me. Don't even try me.
It's amazing how we can see the same video and see two different things. I mostly agree with this.
You have no idea how many times I had somebody who comes and watch our videos and go, "You're blurry. You're out of focus." And I look at the same video and go, "No, I don't see
that's
what
not
you."
what Tracy's talking about. She's
I'm
talking
talking about
about we can
the
all
clip.
witness the same event and come away with different
With totally different conclusions.
interpretations.
Because I
Oh,
went
Yeah.
totally different than what Thea's went, although
well,
I do agree
let me
with
just throw my 2 cents in. The only reason I re-showed this is because this is the definition of a circular.
Oh, okay. Well,
argument.
then never mind.
But go from there. That was my point of showing.
I was saying, like I said, we could see one video and see it 4 different ways. I partially agree with this. He knew who he was talking to. And that is on the left what gets on my nerves. It's like they pick the most, I don't want to say, I'll say this, not intellectual people and say, see, look, that's what they are. If you're going
That's what
to
they do to Trumpers. That's what they do to
exactly,
Trumpers. That's what they do to black people.
exactly.
Word on the street. That's how they do. They always find a
Wait a minute now.
way.
They saying they see something on my
See,
lower.
they see something. I'm not crazy.
Let me look in the mirror. I don't see nothing.
Now you got everybody staring at Tracy's lips.
Mm-hmm.
Is it Fenty, Tracy? Is it Fenty?
No, that is an acne flare. That's a pimple. That is a pimple that you all see.
Oh,
That's exactly
Well
what you
done,
see.
everyone. Well done,
Really?
all of you. All of you,
It's a pimple.
except
That's what
me
it
and
is.
Anna.
well, sorry that I
Me
got
and
my
Anna had.
sorry that I got my glasses on and I can actually see something like
I'm
that and
sorry.
not
I'm
thinking
having a
about the
breakout. I
glare.
don't know why I'm having acne at the age of 49, but I am.
Hey, Marlon, you stop picking on my disability, sir. I
That's
am
not
I
that.
am hard of seeing.
That's not disability. That's not a disability, sir. That's not a disability.
I'm very close to it.
That is not a disability. That's not no.
I
No.
I'm at the
No.
point they don't even want to give me more contacts.
No, your disability is I don't want to put my glasses on because there's a glare. That's not a disability. There's literally nothing that's stopping you other than I don't like the way I look with my glasses on. That's not a disability.
Well, that's why I don't wear mine. I hate the way I look with my glasses.
You know
on.
what, Marlon? Marlon, you know what?
Mhm.
That was offensive, sir. Because how are you gonna tell somebody else what their
What their
disability is?
disability is.
It's not a disability. That's an appearance
That is
look.
a
If
disability.
Marlon,
If
something
Thea
Marlon.
considers,
affects someone's ability,
yes, I'm gonna have to agree with
And,
Anna on this one.
and in all seriousness,
Okay.
wait. In all seriousness,
I am being serious.
I do have macular degeneration, so I am going blind. Like before I exit this land, my eyesight will be gone.
Okay.
But I get what you're saying. I do.
Yes,
If you
everybody.
have a facial deformity,
Such as
I
a
don't.
pimple.
Okay.
That would
That's
be a blemish.
I'm calling it a deformity. I didn't have acne till I got to this age. Not as a teenager, I had perfect, beautiful skin.
Okay.
Turn
Just
49.
means you're going through puberty. You're
If you
going
have a
through,
facial deformity, I have empathy for you. If you don't feel comfortable with being in appearances, with showing your face and everything else, I'm wholeheartedly on your side. You have absolutely no right whatsoever. Tracy, will you take yourself off of you? Because I'm not talking
I'm
about
not
you.
awfully mute. I just said I didn't. I do feel comfortable.
I
Now
was
that
saying I'm not talking about you. I'm
oh,
talking about in general. You have a facial deformity. You have every right to make the decision on what you want to do to make yourself more comfortable. You have nobody has any right to try to make you uncomfortable.
Only if you have a deformity?
I think he's just using this as an example and is not excluding other things.
Theus know what I'm talking about because he smiled, so he knows exactly what I'm saying because he's being a butt. Theus's argument is, I don't want to put my glasses on, not because of the deformity at all. So let's take away the deformity of it. The glass.
Okay, so we're admitting that my face has a deformity?
No,
absolutely
absolutely
this is
not.
news.
That's not what I'm saying. I said you did not want to put your glasses on, not because of the deformity, not because of
What deformity, Marlon?
Other than, let me finish. Other than, I don't like the glare of my glasses.
That glare is annoying, though.
It is. And I am curious what deformity my face has. I didn't know.
Your face has a deformity. I am saying you did not have it, and everybody else's argument is you have no right to say anything like that. And I'm saying,
But you said other than.
Thing.
You said other than my deformity or taking my deformity out of it, and I'm trying to figure it out.
No, you said your deformity is that you're losing your eyesight. Correct?
I said that was my disability. I didn't know I was deformed.
Your disability is you're losing your eyesight. I acknowledge that. That's serious.
It's all right.
You sit there and say, I don't want to put my glasses on because I don't like the glare.
That's why I don't wear mine.
What am I missing?
Apparently, nothing. There's something wrong with us,
I'll
Marlon.
tell you what everybody's not missing: the pimple on my face. That's what y'all not
I
missing.
missed it. I missed it, and you know what? And the beauty of it is, because I have bad eyesight,
I ain't gonna say a word.
I couldn't see it.
I promise.
So my bad eyesight works to your benefit.
It really does. Thank you, Theus.
You know it. Love you, sis.
Oh, that's Anna. Am I losing it or am I hearing voices in my head?
Yeah, I don't know if it's me.
No, that's Anna's.
Echo.
That's Anna's.
The headphones.
His headphones. So no, you're not hearing voices in your head. Let's make that perfectly clear, Mickey. You're fine.
Or are you?
Thea, stop! Don't do that.
Sometimes it feels like somebody's watching me.
Who was the one who had?
I don't get no privacy.
Who the one who had Agent Johnson coming in during the middle of the show?
I think that was mine that did that weirdness.
Oh, that was Anna too.
Agent Johnson. I don't even.
Special Agent Johnson.
Yeah, we don't.
Special Agent Johnson.
Special Agent Johnson. We don't talk about Special Agent Johnson, so you may have forgotten.
Oh, okay, yeah, I sure did. I'm gonna have to go back and watch if I can remember the episode.
This is going up as its old clip. Just talking.
And I know what you should title it. Tracy has a pimple, and everybody knows it.
It's funny, but it's funny that I have
I'm
so
gonna do
many
this.
videos, and the videos have absolutely nothing to do with what we was talking about, like the subject. It's like,
I already know. Here's the title: Deformities aren't disabilities. So says Marlon.
Yep, that's a better title.
let me write that down. Last video of the night. These sloganeer things is just taking. It's just getting out of line. We need to reel it in a little bit. I'm not even going to take anybody down because it's a very short video.
Guys, I've got some bad news. I don't know how to break this to you, especially if you're a Republican, but it appears like the sky is woke.
Did he say the sky or
It's,
this guy?
no,
The
he said the
sky.
No,
sky.
the sky.
The sky
Because
is
there's a
woke.
rainbow.
It's a
There was a
rainbow.
rainbow in the sky. So
The sky is woke. Oh my gosh.
what new laws and regulation and bylaws you going to come up with that?
Well, if you think about it, the sky is kind of woke because, see,
I'll be
when
right
it's
back.
nighttime,
Because this is going to be a
see,
tangent and I got plenty of time. So I'll be right back.
The sky is grooming children.
see, the sky, you know, is the sky is up there, and see, we are down here. So when you look up there, you see the sky, which is all around us, and yet not in us. But you want us to see the sky, but not realize that the sky has a rainbow, and the rainbow only exists because the water vapor is rejecting the sunlight and breaking it apart to force us to not see the pure white light, but to see a whole kaleidoscope of colors. You know, and that, my friends, is why the sky is woke.
Or there was a rainbow in the sky.
Or that.
I didn't hear absolutely nothing what Thea said. I went to hug my wife good night. Because I knew as soon as you could tell when Theus is going to go on one of his silly rants. That's what I'm calling it. When he starts off any sentence with, so here it is. So he has to use the finger. So here it is. So, and by this point in time, you can let the dog out to go do his business. You can go.
I'm a little offended.
You should be. you should be.
You missed my wholehearted attempt
At
at
sign language.
sign language.
No, I like Parker. The sky is grooming children.
What did I say?
The sky is grooming children.
It really is.
The sky woke up when the sun came up, so technically the sky is making us woke.
True.
And if you leave your children outside where the sky can get them, it will burn them, which is why you should keep them inside where they can't be burned. The sky. Woke.
I didn't hear a word Theus just said. The voices in my head kept interrupting him.
Don't repeat that. Don't you repeat that.
No.
Yeah, it's funny. It's just those things, man. I mean, these media people, and they know better. They just choose not to do anything different. I'm like, just every single time someone says woke, pause and say, what definition of woke are you working from?
But it's not working from Theus. It's not working from. Give me a definition, period. Did we show the video of the woman saying, can you, so we can be on the same understanding?
Yes.
Can you?
And I'm saying do that every time.
Woke. And this woman went on but
nobody can.
This is gonna go viral.
This is gonna go viral, and it's like,
girl, just say you don't know and you heard the Republicans say it, and you thought, you know what, I'm gonna say that.
But that's
time.
my point. That's my point. Every time they bring it up, every time DeSantis says he's against woke policy, you say, well, what is woke? What definition are you working from? right? Because they all have different definitions. So tell me which one you're working with, and then I can debate you on that. But we can't just keep going with just throw out a word and it just kills the conversation every
So they
time.
can stop moving the goalposts.
What is it?
Yeah, they are good at moving the goalposts.
But that's what I mean. Is that why you saying what's your definition of woke, or what definition?
He couldn't tell you. He doesn't know.
Moving the goalposts. Yeah.
And you should do that because they don't know.
And who
That's why you should do it.
Who wants to talk to a man who eats pudding with his fingers? Nasty.
Allegedly.
He admitted that he has not denied that story.
He said that he does not remember doing that.
Which means he did it.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't. And
That's
then
what I'm saying. We literally had a congressman
point.
after a mass shooting sit there and say we can talk about anything other than the mass shooting. They don't got to the point where we can just skip it. So,
but the thing is,
pudding with your fingers.
But here's the thing, Tracy. Think about it. Who told you that he eats pudding with his fingers?
An insider.
Trump.
Huh?
No,
Trump's
the Trump
team.
Well, yeah, okay.
It was his political action committee or one that backs him that made that ad. So you're going to Trump to get this opinion of this guy who says he doesn't remember doing it. Now, personally, I do think he's probably one of them weird people who would do that because I don't have a spoon, I got fingers, and that's nasty. But it came from Trump.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry to interrupt this. Amy Klobuchar eats salad with a comb? Okay, that's worse. That's worse. That's way worse. Because the comb is supposed
to... How you eat anything with a comb?
Amy Klobuchar.
Amy Klobuchar is the senator from Minnesota.
Okay. Second question. How do you eat salad with a comb?
Comb. Because you got to scoop it.
I mean, it's got teeth. It's got teeth.
But you got to scoop it.
Teeth. How do you do it with a comb?
Maybe she has a big Afro pick type comb.
No, she don't, because her hair is thin. Her hair is like Anna's. She don't got black people hair.
Weird, man. I'm tired of y'all. The story came out about DeSantis and the pudding before Trump's ad.
That's why I said an insider.
I don't remember that.
It's still alleged. And even if he did do it, that's what we're worried about.
This
is the dude who's against all things LGBTQ.
I'm worried about that too. I didn't say I wasn't worried about that. I said, how can you trust a man?
Female.
No, I did
but
not
what
say I wasn't.
Fire? Not you, Tracy. Not you.
No.
But what catches fire?
That's not what I said.
Man eats his pudding with his fingers.
I said, how can you trust a man that eats pudding with his fingers? I didn't skip over all the ridiculous things he's done.
I didn't say you did, Tracy. I'm talking about the media conversation.
Well, the media is just
remember. I'm the guy who says that I find it hard to trust a black man with no facial hair.
Yeah, you did. Yeah.
And you don't eat food that floats.
Yeah, or floats. And don't eat grits.
That's different. It's different.
So far. It was a story that came out a few years ago about Amy. Say that word for me because I can't.
Klobuchar.
Okay. Where one of her staffers didn't bring her a fork, and so she ate a salad with a comb and asked her staffer to clean the comb after.
Girl, clean it yourself.
Ooh, that's disgusting.
That's worse than eating pudding with your fingers. I'm sorry, worse.
Because what you're telling me is you're going to reuse the comb?
Yeah, she's going to let it dry out and put it in her
Why
hair.
not? It's within her mouth. The nasty part was putting the comb in your food. After that, it's all, hey, after that, it don't get much worse.
Did the comb have hairs in it?
Because y'all making Anna sick.
I don't care if you took the comb out the pack and started eating with it. That's just wrong.
Yeah, now you making Anna sick for years now. Don't do that.
Making Anna sick.
Way to go, Marlon.
I don't even know who this woman was. And now that I do know who this woman is, I never want to meet this woman ever again.
You know what's irksome? I'm going to change subjects. Kamala Harris is a very good public speaker, very good politician, and they wait until now to dust her off to start having anything to say. and they only dusted her off. You notice they only bring her out for black issues and women issues. That's the only time they let her come out and go on a speaking tour. Other than that, you can't find that woman.
What's strange about that?
But what's strange? They do that to every vice president.
It's just annoying because we're getting ready to
issue.
run up for the election.
Yeah, you have a black issue, black shootings, cop killers, everything else. Who do Fox bring out there? They don't bring white commentators to come out
they do.
there and discuss.
They do all the time.
They bring black commentators to go, there's nothing to see here. They know exactly what they're doing.
But they don't bring out black people, Marlon. They don't.
They have somebody.
Well, they got three. They got like three of them.
They got one black person.
Raised at the top
they
of
got that one black lady that's got that her cheeks are like swollen. No, that's the only one they got.
No,
hey, yo, that one black lady on there with the really long neck. She been on there for a while.
Her. Yep, that's the one I'm talking about.
What's the guy that comes on there? His whole conversation.
Oh, Juan Williams. Juan Williams is the second one. Sorry.
Ain't nobody seen Juan in.
But you
like
don't
they done
see
ran
Juan.
him off. Where is Juan?
He's on
I
the
think
Sunday
he went
show.
up against. Oh, because I think he offended the panel one too many times, and they're like, Juan, stop talking black, Juan. Juan. One more time, Juan. You sounding real black. Go get the black guy who don't talk black. Bring him in here, please. Juan, you on timeout.
He hasn't been on the morning show. Sometimes I catch the morning show. I don't know why, but when I turn off my TV.
My morning show is Morning Joe.
Oh
gosh!
now
Have a morning
you're
show. I listen to the radio. I listen to podcasts.
I'd rather watch Black
TV
Remix than to
time.
sit there and listen to Morning Joe. Oh my gosh, he makes me sick. Oh,
I like Morning Joe. I watch Morning Joe, but more often than not, I'm watching something on YouTube. But because the Bulwark has a really good podcast that they do.
CBS Morning I catch from time to time.
Yeah, I watch that too sometimes.
It's sort of like straightforward and everything. Now, some of their stories is like, you put a lot of negative stuff early in the daggone morning. I'm not saying whatever they're saying is wrong and it don't need to be reported,
news.
But Lord.
Local news. I learned this as a kid because we moved so much. Local news, man, don't turn that on. It'll have you where you don't want to go outside.
A murder, a shooting.
Well,
like 10 murders,
but you know what they always
10
say
murders
about
and a
local
kidnapping
news,
every
though.
morning. You just like, really?
But you know what they say about local news? They only have 3 topics that they know is going to get them ratings:
sports, killings, and
sports, killings, and weather.
And the weather. And
That's
they do the weather 20 times. 5 minutes ago, they just did the weather. Here's the weather update. Like, you just did it 5 minutes
Or here
ago.
in Atlanta, every 5 minutes is, hey, the traffic's still bad, y'all.
Oh, that's mornings.
Yeah, that's mornings. But
mornings is the traffic.
Traffic's still bad. Yeah.
Out here, the weather actually can change every 5 minutes.
Y'all got mountains.
We would have it here during the winter time when we for a while it gets really bad because, believe it or not, we had a point in North Carolina where the morning it was 58 degrees. It was kind of warm. And it dropped all the way down to 30 something. It rained. It went from snow to sleet to freezing rain like by 12 o'clock. So 8 o'clock to 12 o'clock. It just
we
the
had
weather
that
can
happen.
be a funny thing.
Sure can.
It's a global phenomenon.
Democracy Now! Has a good daily morning thing on YouTube that is like 10-minute thing that goes over the headlines and everything else.
I watched that morning show with Kim Brown and the other people on it. I can't think of what it's called, but that's
never seen. I don't think I've ever seen a Burn It Down with Kim Brown.
What?
I don't know where that comes from. Is it YouTube?
Yes. That's how me and Anna met. Is Burn It Down with Kim Brown.
Is that the one with Jared Ball?
Yes.
Black Power Media.
Okay, yeah. I used to watch that one. I would watch that one in the Dixon Show. right? I would bounce between the two.
But he's only even
Ben Dixon is now doing his podcast again, and I have been downloading that and listening to it as I walk around. And that's in his wheelhouse. That's his wheelhouse. That his podcast. It's nothing wrong with him being live and on the show with the rest of the people. I'm not taking that away from him. But if you're talking about his wheelhouse of doing podcasts and things like this, Ben Dixon is back and he is doing his thing, and I enjoy it so much because he's back to
the bread and butter.
The bread and butter of the situation. And he put some audio up that's just like, oh my God, I miss this stuff.
Yeah, because he's part of the reason why I actually decided to start recording, because I would hear him back before he did the show with all his friends. I would hear him and I'm like, wow, this guy, he has a lot of the same views I do. Like I'm literally listening to myself sometimes when I'm listening when he's talking. Sometimes I'm not, but I'm like, yeah, this guy, I like his perspective. But then as he began trying to grow, and I think Marlon, we had this conversation. I was like, as he begins to grow, I hope he's able to stick to his vision, because what I think is going to happen is he's going to get distracted and it's not going to go anywhere. And that is basically what ended up happening. He grew so fast, and then he was trying to help put everybody on like he's supposed to as a good person, but he got distracted from that which was his thing. And then I think he had some other stuff going on in his personal life, but all that stuff was happening, and then he got off track. And I think now if he's doing what you're saying, as he's rebuilding, it's going to be even better than the first time, because he's going to come at it with more experience.
I think what he started doing, and I totally agree with you, Ben Dixon, if you're watching, wink, wink, I know you're not.
He could be.
Yeah, okay.
He might be one day.
I think one day.
He's watching today.
Would you like me to?
Yeah. I like what he's doing now is that he refrained from doing daily YouTube shows, because I took offense to it that it was the Ben Dixon channel and I don't see Ben Dixon. And that's not taking anything from Rebecca. That's not taking anything from the DJ. That's not taking anything from them. Yeah, the Bubba. That's not taking anything from them. But if you look at it, it's two different things.
Are they still on?
Yes.
Yes, but what they do is they do it weekly, not daily. So they come on once a week. And Ben Dixon.
That's probably better.
Yeah, and Ben Dixon is on the show once a week. I don't think Ben Dixon can keep up with doing it daily. So he puts out a podcast daily, but he does the show on YouTube weekly.
But what he was building, right? He wouldn't be on everything. He was building something like what Roland Martin was trying to build. You know what? Can't remember her name, but she does a thing with Dr. Carr. Can't remember her name, but she's amazing. She's true.
Mm-hmm. In class with Dr.
The
Carr.
one that cusses a lot?
No, she doesn't really do a lot of cursing.
Wait a minute, who's y'all talking? What was the name of the person so I can think of their face?
Oh.
In class with Dr. Carr, the lady.
Podcast, but her name. Oh, I can see her face.
Karen something.
Karen Hunter. Right. So when you're building a network, yes, you're the flagship, right? Ben's the flagship. He's the original draw. But done correctly, he would no longer be really seen as much, because he's putting other personalities on. He's got other programs running. He has a different level of responsibility.
Yep, and here's my message.
But I think he was moving too fast, and it got out of control.
But Ben, if you watching, you can put me on. I'm just saying, me, Marlon Theus, or Anna. I'm just, just sending that out there.
And Parker, again, I like Rebecca Zord, though. I like Rebecca. I really do. I actually like Rebecca. I've asked her to come on this show. I have no problem with Rebecca. I don't have a problem with Bubba. I have no problem. I actually go to their Patreon parties afterwards, and I listen to it. I enjoy it. But what got me on the trajectory of watching them was Ben.
Yeah, me
And
too.
it was the
My
connection.
work schedule doesn't work with it now, so that's why I never see it. I
Yeah,
haven't seen it in like a
it's
year.
every
I haven't
Friday.
seen it in a year.
It's every Friday except this past Thursday because it was 420. And in case anybody don't know, 420 is the police
Smokers holiday.
Yes,
police
that's the.
code for marijuana. So they came
It's a
on
smokers holiday. That's all.
It's
well,
all the.
Smokers Holiday
Mm-hmm.
420. And they came on this Thursday instead of this Friday. So shout out Ben Dixon, and his show comes on for a while now every Friday live. What the
Get that
hell
car
was
started, Tracy.
that?
Get that car started.
My show comes on Friday too.
It's after your show.
Oh, okay. Well, that's fine.
Oh, it's a daytime show. It's not a morning show.
It's a nighttime show.
Huh? Didn't know. Like I said, I haven't seen any of this stuff in like a year. So,
But it's really good. And the deal is, the reason I say what it is I like Rebecca Azor, I like DJ, I like Bubba, and I like Ben Dixon. Those three work together. Like it's like on this show, I can work with all these individuals separately. But I know beyond a shadow of a doubt the show shines when all four of us is on the freaking show. I have no problem with that. We have different takes on things. So it shines better when all four of us is on the show.
my biggest thing was they were always on commercial breaks. I ain't like that, and I didn't appreciate that Rebecca was always late, like always. Didn't appreciate that. But as far as their chemistry, they had great chemistry. And I like that Rebecca brings you things that you're not gonna get anywhere else. You know,
Yeah.
Bubba, he's just a good dude. You just get a feeling of him being a good dude. And Ben, you never quite know what Ben's gonna bring you that day, but usually it's gonna be pretty good. And then you had whatever his name is, the doctor, the professor type dude, Carl Mack,
Yep.
and he's all right. You know, he's not my favorite personality, but I like what he does bring. So it's cool. That's all well and good, you know, and that's probably how people feel about us. You know, depends on that guy Theus. He talks too damn much, right? So hey.
It's crazy how when I first found you all's channel last year that you are already knew about so many of these shows that I was watching as well.
That's because we're smart.
For me, and I'm just speaking for myself, because some of those shows was inspirational. Like some of those things was just like, there is nothing personally, because I could tell you off the bat, personally, the stuff that they were saying, I was repeating it when I was listening to it, when I was watching it. And I just sat there and said, well, why am I not? I can do this. And I just, decided to. I mean, now, trust me, Lizzie Graham, because I ain't forgot about your little punk Abe, but was the main catalyst for the reason why I actually started the freaking show to begin with. Believe me, 10 years from now, I'll still give you credit for starting this show, you little wimp. You are the reason why I actually started the show. But to say that these other shows were not the catalyst for it, yeah, they were. They really was the catalyst for me wanting to start this show. That I got a big mouth too. I have issues with this country, and I want to be heard.
Yep. And we owe us being together to clickbait, because that's where we all met each other.
Now, don't get it twisted. God, that was some fun years with clickbaity. Clickbaity had so much magic.
Yep. If it wasn't for that group, I never would have met Marlon, who said, "Oh," and then Theus commented on something that Marlon said, and then I never would have met.
Clickbaity was too, so when all three of them was on there, it wasn't
that magic? And then they had that falling out, and then they reconnected.
I
Not to me.
laughed, I cried,
I did. I was
felt
like, this show is
emotional. I
like,
felt everything with
I was
clickbait.
changing my schedule to watch them. Like they would come on late, I'd be like, okay, I'm
I
staying up late just to watch them.
Now I will say this about
I
clickbait.
liked Ben Dixon, and I liked Ben Dixon and his crew, and I liked the
Marcus
two guys,
and
Marcus
Martell.
and Mondale. I liked them. I did not like them together
Oh, I
because
love
from the
them together.
moment that I first started seeing them, Marlon and I didn't really know each other that well at this point, and I would sit there and tell Marlon, "There's a problem,"
But they cleared it
and
up.
sure enough,
No,
okay,
Theos was correct. He felt
like,
he did. I remember that specifically that he did say there's an issue because after a while even I started noticing like if you look at the earlier version of it,
All of us did. Yep.
you couldn't see. After a while, you did start noticing like somebody would say something, and the other two, regardless of who it was, the other two was like pause.
and
Breathe.
Marcus would always be the one trying to keep the peace between the two of them.
Yes, and it was like, and I remember Thea because I even went to Thea because Thea remember when you said something is not going on, and I went back to you with, yeah, something is not right,
And it's not her business.
Well, it is a business because you're in public with it, but
yeah. Once you put
Right.
it
they
public,
worked it out. They did their thing, and it's all well and good. But I big ups to all of them because you got Ben still building his media empire, and he's doing it from the grassroots level, and he's trying to do this as a black man in a public space. He's every bit as talented and good as what TYT has out there, but he'll probably never get that particular level of exposure because of the nature of the game that we're playing in.
right.
And then you got Marcus. Marcus was getting so fed up with the silliness within our community that sometimes he was on and sometimes he was off. And then Mondale committed himself to trying to save his hometown, and he's moved down that path. Got married, do the whole thing, right?
Wait a
So
minute, you said he
everybody's
got married?
He
yeah,
got
Mondale's
married,
married,
and he's the mayor of his town.
How he
and
gonna
he's the
get
mayor of
married
his
and
town.
he's supposed to be I'm done.
Tamara.
Right, so yeah.
Yeah, now I'm upset now. Now I'm
Oh.
But
upset.
I will tell you something about this show.
He's been married for almost a
Supposed to
year at
be
this
my
point.
Yeah, it's
man,
been
and
over a
he gonna
year
go
now.
marry
At least.
some little chickaboo? Nope, I don't play that.
Either way, my point of this show.
And Mondale is a contributor for TYT now. How things go full
Yeah,
circle.
he does a lot of stuff with TYT now.
He's on.
And Ben used to
Mondale
be the one that they called.
does.
Yeah, but after he slammed oh boy, he was like, nah, that was out.
Who he slammed?
What's the show after Damage?
Um,
What's the show before Damage Report?
I don't know.
Damage Reporters
They got a
first.
schedule? They got a
Did
schedule over there?
no, it's Dr. Rashad Ritchie show.
No, that's
I can't watch that.
That's after. Yeah,
It
I can't even watch Indisputable. I can't even watch it.
With RJ.
With JR.
With
JR.
JR.
Watch list comes on at 5 now, though.
Watch list. Thank you.
Now.
Watch list. Mondale is
Wait,
on
where are y'all seeing this? Are y'all watching TYT live or something?
Yes, you can watch it live on YouTube. You just
Oh,
start
I
watching.
watch whatever clip
Watch list.
pops up, I might watch it. Otherwise, I skip it.
Okay, the schedule. Watch list. Damage
Indisputable.
Report. Dr. Ritchie. TYT.
Well, we know TYT comes on at 6. Now that much I do know, and then watch list comes on before it. But you skipping Nina's show. You just totally skipped over Nina's show.
I can't even watch Nina's show.
I can't watch Nina's show.
And then there's the conversation.
What? The conversation is not on anymore because watch list is now on at 5. Remember the conversation used to be on at 5:30? It's not anymore because watch list.
There
Yo, what
have
are we
been
even talking about anymore? I mean, it's
yeah. Nina was interviewing Real Congress.
Let me move on,
Anyway,
dude. So let me go ahead and show this because I said I would show it at the end of the show, and I'm gonna keep, my promise. I just realized this channel is already up to 145 subscribers. That was super quick jump from hitting 100 like 2 weeks ago.
Numbers growing.
That's
Yay!
great.
Nay. Yay!
Yeah, I said before we're almost at 150.
No,
So
that's
if
awesome. Let's go for 500. Let's get to where Marlon can start getting paid for this channel.
So I can start paying these people. And let me go ahead and give the announcement. I'm pulling a Tracy. I have an announcement. I'm pulling a Tracy. I have an announcement. So, we're not on next weekend. That falls into the category of I said that I'm going to take the last weekend or the first weekend off to take care of a bunch of stuff, blah, 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 spend more time with the family, friends, neighbors, my wife, the majority of the time. However, it's come to my conclusion that May is jam-packed with graduations. My daughter, my niece, it's jam-packed. Cookouts, birthdays, blah, blah, blah. So, however, because of the trajectory of this show and because I don't want to take multitudes of weekends off, Tracy Carson will be in charge of the show.
And I will not show the little bad daycare girl. I make that promise right now.
And that's a deal because you won't. Because here's the difference. Tracy Carson will be hosting the show with the videos I put on there. Not because if Tracy put the videos on there, they're gonna show that little bad A kid, and I don't want to see that.
Or that one I sent you with the quartet singer, that was hilarious. That guy was awesomely hilarious. I was like, this is a mafia video. He's like, no, it's terrible. That's the point.
Yeah, that was the point of why I wouldn't show him. So the point is, Tracy will be in charge of the show the majority of the time in May. If I find time, of course, I'm going to jump on and do my thing. If I don't, that's the reason why, because for me, for a lot of people, my family comes first. And my daughter has worked real hard to get her college degree, and I'm not going to miss that. My niece, who technically speaking is the first child after being married that I saw from birth to graduate from high school. I ain't missing that one. And then the cookouts and everything else to build a outside business for everybody else. So, but the trajectory of this show has been going so good, I can't afford no more to miss weekends. We're just gonna take this weekend off and nothing happens. I can't afford it no more. Tracy will be doing this somewhere during next week or next weekend. I'll show her the ropes, how to put the videos up. I will still be the one that's picking out everything because I don't trust Tracy. And I said it to her face. I don't.
I am trustworthy Tracy.
I trust you, Tracy.
I don't.
Thank you, Theus. Thank you, Anna. I hope
Tracy have that bad A kid up in here like 4-5 times. Look, take a look again. Ha ha. No, I'm not doing that.
No, I would probably just show Desperate Times Call for what? Desperate Measures.
About 4-5 times. No. So no. So
if Tracy says
worried about that man's health.
What'd you say, Anna?
What you saying?
You know that if Tracy says she's not going to do something,
I won't do it. Thank you. I want to thank you, Anna. I want to thank you again for saying that.
Anyway, so that is the month of May. June, it'll probably be back to normal.
I also have to add, though, the month of May is Lyme Disease Awareness Month. It's going to be extremely busy for me.
Okay. Yeah.
So you might just get me and Theus.
Maybe.
When
I will
Theus is
try.
available, because May is crazy for me too.
Yeah, you may just get me by myself.
I will do my best.
Either way, I'm not gonna leave
But y'all
everybody.
keep going. Tracy's just gonna leave from here and go straight to church.
I know, right?
But I'll leave. But trust me, I will have everything up, and I'll try to make it as smooth as possible. And it's a learning curve, to be honest with you, because, like I said, I want to build this to be a very big platform. Everything ain't promised to us to go smoothly. You're gonna have to make pivots. You're gonna have to make turns. So this is a learning curve while we at 145 compared to 145,000. And you still got to keep going. So it's a learning curve. So yeah, just to give you a heads up. Marlon giving the keys to the car to Tracy. I'm not laughing at that statement. I'm laughing at Tracy's gonna play
Now
with
that
coffee
one,
again. Nope. Over and over and over again.
I said I wouldn't play anything that you didn't. This is still your show.
All right. Take your word for it.
Okay, I heard that and I was just muted. WTF?
Okay, you can find Anna at BorelliAndCentra.com being doggone it. Tracy?
You can find all of my videos at TracyMediaLLC.com, where I uploaded not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, but 6 new videos.
And wonderful. Great job, sir.
All right, couple places you can find me, folks. So you can find me at Complex Mind /Simple Man on YouTube. You can find me. Please check me out there. I got some videos that just dropped. You can find me at ComplexSimpleMan.com. And then you can also find me at my Patreon site, patreon.com/ComplexMind. So please, check the sticker out. So check me out. Got some new stuff coming. I'm gonna probably upload it before I go to bed here, but for those of you who are in Patreon, you will be able to see my trial runs with some concepts that I'm gonna be running out there for our United Core that is on the horizon here. So just keep an eye out for that.
See y'all tomorrow. Thanks for the show, Diane Feinstein 2024.
Parker, you know what? You wrong for that.
Baby Mafia. Corner. No.
We got to put you in the corner.
Starting crap. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, non-conforming individuals, that is our show for tonight. I thank Anna, Tracy, and Theus. We will see you tomorrow. Radical Truth to Power at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And until then, that time, we will see you when we see you. Peace.
Turn to your neighbor. Say, neighbor.